tonight as we enter Mitch's ninth world. We're playing Numenera, and Mitch, take it away, my friend.
Taking it away.
Take
All
it
right, so
from me.
we'll do a little summary from last session to get everybody in chat caught up in case we have new viewers, and also just for players' sake to remember what had happened.
That would be
So
helpful.
our group of 4 adventurers were all heading sort of roughly in the same direction in pairs. So Jeckley and Seto, Will's character, were sort of coming together from the town of Faston, heading towards the Amber Monolith. And Will and Beth's characters, Beth, your character's name was Alithia, and Josh, you were Maximus, I remember.
It's like she's got a lisp.
Maximus.
Yeah. So Alithia and Maximus were coming as a pair as well. The 4 of them were all coming to the Amber Monolith to join in what is sort of an annual event. There's a number of pilgrims that all sort of leave the safety of the Imperial Province and head north of the river into what's known as the Sky Crystal Fields, which are just what they sound like, giant purple crystals floating, seeming to be unaffected by gravity in any way, the sizes of little shards all the way up to the sizes of towns. This whole sort of plane of floating crystals is seen to be very spiritual, so every year there's these annual pilgrimages from various religious groups. Individuals take them on as well. So concurrent with the sort of spiritual significance of the season, there's always a ton of mercenary work available to be hired as escorts, protection, or sort of otherwise just companions on these spiritual journeys. So our 4 adventurers all ended up taking up a contract with one Mr. Lyric, who is himself an Ion Priest. And I'll remind those in chat as well as the players, Aeon Priests are seen to be sort of the neutral sect of sort of the dominant 3, I guess you could say, religions. The 3 sort of orders in the world. There's the Order of Truth, the Aeon Priests, and the Convergence. The Order of Truth is sort of seen to be going through all of their processes and things for the sake of good, trying to help people, that sort of benevolent left, whereas the Convergence sees themselves as furthering personal gain, which isn't necessarily evil, but it's definitely not for the sake of others. And all 3 of these orders study intensively the Numenera, the sort of past artifacts, to sort of further their purpose. So Lyric is an Aeon Priest, so one of these sort of neutral, highly academic, kind of emotionally reserved individuals who hired our party of 4 to escort him to something known as the Invisible Lake. Now, I believe it was Myth that recalled a small detail about the Invisible Lake, apart from its namesake being an invisible lake. He remembers that there's a tribe of mutants that is sort of rumored to live there. These mutants have sort of evolved and developed stork-like attributes. Their knees bend backwards, kind of in an Aryan sort of way, and they've developed sort of an elongated jaw that has a sort of water pouch underneath it. So they've got that kind of floppy stork pouch under their bottom
I believe
jaw.
you mean the avian sort of way.
Avian, yes.
Aryan.
Well, technically, it would be the like ornitharian would be the technical term, but of course, none of us give a shit about that. So
That's true.
we can move on. So there's this tribe potentially of these stork mutants that reside near the Invisible Lake, and what Lyric is doing is not quite clear at this point. All you know is that he's taking with him hundreds of empty mason jars and a very important chest that has something in it that you don't know. You've been instructed not to touch it, although Josh, you were able to scan this chest and you identified that it has some type of very, very potent chemical inside, and that could potentially be dangerous. Now, as far as we got last week, you had crossed the river, you were making your way through the Sky Crystal Fields, and you were set upon by a dust storm that seemed to move on very quickly. It didn't last for too long. And then sure enough, the dust storm was followed by, and this was our viewer decision, although it worked it well quite narratively. Viewer decision was that right after this dust storm, the caravan pilgrims was attacked by a band of very sort of World of Warcraft-esque tinkering goblins who were riding on these purple crystals as their mounts. So there were various assortments of sort of charcoal or like sort of chemically fueled engines that were strapped in various ways. So these sort of the sound of a dysfunctioning motorcycle as each of these crystals sort of popped and propelled towards you. And the party was able to repel them, although there were some interesting developments. So we'll go through those one at a time by character. So Beth, if you recall, Alithia found an egg that had been sort of cracked open. Inside this egg,
I found Billy.
Yeah, you can describe, actually. You can describe to chat what was in that egg. What is Billy?
He's basically what we would recognise as a little baby pterodactyl, although he has been renamed a Galgatrix by Josh.
Yeah, so you've got a little baby
Galgatrix.
Galgatrix.
Baby Galgatrix. Yeah, he's shocky, and he's called Billy.
And he tastes like chicken.
Yeah, and Billy took an immediate sort of maternal affection to you, Beth, given that you were the first thing that this drake-like creature saw, and you protected it from the goblin raid that tried to sort of snatch it from you. So it's grown quite attached to you. Josh, you managed to sort of procure one of these crystal mounts still sort of intact, and we'll discuss that in a minute as we get started. Will, you sort of indentured a woman to you for having saved a woman named Naomi.
Naomi, not to be confused with her asking her to nail me.
Naomi. Naomi was wounded during the dust storm when one of the shards of crystal sort of knocked over her caravan. Her whole sort of left leg was torn open. Not only did you go and make sure she was all right initially, but then when the goblins attacked, you stood over her, slaying goblins left and right. So she's very indebted to you.
It was the honourable thing to do.
Yes, indeed. And what I'll say is,
It's very honourable.
Myth, you've started to notice, and I guess this is where I'll transition into a brief travel period. So after the raid of the goblins, there's roughly 2 or 3 days worth of travel before arriving at the Invisible Lake. And over this time, there's some developments for each of you. So Myth, you're going to notice that strange presence that you felt sort of watching you, that sort of the sense that somebody was right over your shoulder and you would look and then they're not there. Not only has that started to come back again, it sort of went away a little bit when you were in the woods with the soil man, but it's come back. It's sort of quite strong for you, this sense of somebody being some type of presence following or listening or watching you. But you also notice that it's also very strongly concentrated on Josh's character. So this presence is sort of following your group, but it's like it's taking its time, and you keep thinking that there's something near Josh, and you look over and there's nothing there. Josh has no idea that this is happening, by the way. He's completely oblivious to this presence. But Myth, you're tracking that your presence is...
It's not entirely surprising because Max is pretty much unaware of everything that's going on around him. He doesn't really know where he is most of the time.
There are so many competing circumstantials around Maximus's character that he has no idea which one is which. And actually, Josh, we can talk about it if you want, developing, taking on, I know you have Honorable right now as your descriptor, but there's one called Mad, which is great. And there are rules on how to develop or change your descriptor from one to another. So if you want to progressively go crazier, we can discuss adopting the Mad descriptor for your character.
Mitch, I'd love to do that.
Sounds good. So Myth, your presence is sort of developing. It's still bothering you. It's still there. You're unable to sort of tack it down, and it's very interested in Josh. Beth, as Billy starts to develop, it's Billy's first 3 or 4 days out of his egg. You notice that his eyes aren't developing as fast as you would have expected. So his eyes are really small and they're very squinted. Commonly you might think that sort of aerial or flying creatures have very good eyesight, but Billy doesn't seem like he's going to be developing very good eyesight, but he's still very perceptive somehow. So you've had other creatures fly by or bugs skitter left and right, and Billy is quick to turn his head and squawk and interact with his surroundings, but with some sense other than his eyesight. There we go.
He's so cute.
So Billy is somehow sensing the world through other than his eyes. Will, you learn a little bit more about Naomi as she sort of speaks with you. She's placed onto one of the carts while her leg is sort of wrapped up. She's also heading to the Invisible Lake. You find out that she's
come here often.
You find out that she's in fact a widow, and she's making an annual pilgrimage to take 1 liter of invisible water from the Invisible Lake, to then go and water the flowers that are on her ex-husband's grave. He was a mercenary who worked up here as well. And it's sort of a very consistent ritual that she always goes through once a year. She sort of explains that she's very poor. She doesn't have much. She's trying to thank you as best as she can. She only has just enough to make this trip each year and then head back to the farm. She references some farm obscurely, but doesn't go into much detail as to where she works. And Josh, finally, before we dive in, Josh, you just have this persistent sense that we're going the wrong way. Your character, Maximus, is convinced that, like, this entire route is, interestingly enough, the route you should be on, but you're moving the wrong direction. Haven't we already been to here? We're supposed to be heading back the other way, so you're a little torn up about the direction, and even feeling a bit of an urgency that we should be moving in the other direction.
Okay.
And otherwise, unless any of you guys have any questions, that sort of sums up our summary before diving in.
Let's dive into the invisible lake.
All right, diving in. So you guys arrive at dusk to what is known up in the sky, crystal fields, as the invisible lake. It is just like what it sounds, but arriving at dusk, sort of facing to the east, which this particular iteration of the world happens to be where the sun is setting. It's a strange play of shadows and lights as you look into what looks to you just like a giant crater, is all this lake seems to be. But again, all of the creatures and plants that reside in this lake still respond as if they're in water. So you see all of these floating fish, again, casting their shadows on the ground in strange arcs and swirls, and all of them, they're brightly reflective sort of scales as well, reflecting off of the dusk light. So there's an extremely sort of disorienting array of shadows, lights, movements, motions. You see sort of the shapes of larger creatures further out of the lake, but it's quite an interesting sight to behold. And as you're all sort of standing there kind of awestruck, drinking in the sight of the lake, the sort of ever insensitive and monotonous voice of Lyric is going to sort of bark down to you that it is time to set up camp.
I nod to him as if expecting him to do it.
So he's going to shuffle off. He's going to shuffle off of his, again, the sort of pack herding mounts, or these awkward bipedal camels that Cord is a great image of that you should share with chat.
Yep. Who showed it? I think it was Zarek. Zarek or Zolinar. It's one of the Z's.
I think it was James that put it up, actually.
Never again.
I didn't see it till after the session. I thought it was
so
just
good.
great. Because there's a picture in the book of what these look like, and they're all majestic and stuff, I guess. But henceforth, my games of the Ninth World, these creatures are always going to look like that image.
Now I got to find it because we keep referring to it.
The uncomfortable bipedal camel. So Lyric sort of shuffles off of his bipedal camel and sort of points to all four of you and says, I need someone to set up camp. Someone's got to go get us some more rations. And someone needs to start filling up these jars with water. So those are sort of the three directives that he gives.
Cool. And I turn to him and say, and I'm going to figure out why, because haven't we already been here? I mean, I know we were on the right path, but was it supposed to be that way? Or have we already been there? No, we definitely need to be going that way. And he keeps gesturing back the way we came, and he's like, no, I'm telling you, we need to start going that way, like, now.
I imagine, like, after 3 days, like, he's probably encountered your idiosyncrasies a little bit.
Yeah.
So he'll sort of, like, sigh and say, we're going home tomorrow. Tonight we're staying here. We don't travel at night. So he's sort of just saying, yes, the route home is that way, but that's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tonight we need to fill the jars, and he's obviously being very pedantic to you.
Yeah. I'm just like, no, you don't understand, because we already filled the jars, and then it happened, and then we've got to. What has it?
He's going to go check the jars. If they're full, then maybe we can talk about leaving tonight, because he obviously knows they're all empty. So
yeah, I'm just like, fine. All right, if I have to go prove this to you, and like Max is gonna go off and he finds the jars and he's like, look, and he opens it up and he turns it upside down and he's like, oh.
I mean, I guess in Maximus's defense, you are like, you have been asked to fill the jars with invisible water, so like it'll be hard to tell if they're full or not, but like you would feel and hear the water.
Yeah, I'm just like, look, see, look, is it? And then he starts like searching for the water on the sand. He's just like, wait. Where did it go? And this is like, I imagine like in this, while he's like doing all this, the other guy just slowly walks away. And I'm just like, oh, hold on.
Okay, so while Maximus is busy inspecting the jars and hopefully Lyric thinks eventually filling them, he's sort of explaining, you guys are aware over the last few days that you lost a number of your rations that he had bought during the sandstorm. Another number of them were sort of blown off and whisked away as one of the bags was torn open. So someone will need to sort of start setting up the camp. You'll need to talk about sort of a rotation for watch, all these things. You know, this is what he hired you for. He's here to fill up these jars with water and just go to sleep. He's setting up a little like lean-to for his tent, and that's as far as his responsibilities go as far as he's concerned.
Yeah,
but he does say that someone else will need to go hunt or do something to get food.
Yeah, I say,
Go hunt.
I will watch.
You watch me
Yes, he seems
hunt?
to be good at that.
If you are within my eyesight, yes, I will watch you.
Right.
Well, as
If
long,
I'm
as, long
any
as
good
there's somebody
hunting, then I
take
better not be in your eyesight. Right? And he kinda winks at
Correct.
you. So, good luck. And then he kind of throws his bow over his shoulder, and he looks back over towards Maximus, a little confused. He swore he saw something, and then he doesn't see what he thought he saw, and then he shrugs and kind of just turns and walks away. You probably see that as well, Maximus, and then he turns and walks
Yeah,
away.
I look over you and I'm just like, you did. And he nods and he's like, yeah. Nice.
I
And then
probably
he's
go ahead.
gonna like scan the local area and be like, interesting.
I go and talk to Nai.
Cool. So she's been sort of set down off of the wagon that she was being sort of pulled on. There's probably about half a dozen other sort of pilgrims that were coming to this invisible lake that you sort of haven't met. Naomi's one of them that you've interacted with a little bit. Yeah, so she's been set down sort of on a blanket. Again, she's not expected to do much given that she's still quite wounded. She's no longer sweating quite as much. First couple of days, sort of from the pain and the injury and things, she was sort of running a bit of a feat. She seems to be coming down a bit.
I kind of kneel down onto my knees beside her and say, how are you feeling?
So you'll notice when she talks, she doesn't really make eye contact. She's big on the sort of head down kind of thing. But she's very sort of polite and respectful, and she'll say, "Oh, quite well. The men seem to have bandaged me sufficiently. I hope I'll be able to walk before I get back to the farm."
I say, why do you not meet a man's gaze?
She says, "Oh, it's not my place to put pride in front of order and polite."
Yes. Got some Skype issues on my end. Everybody still there? Everybody's muted, so if you guys are saying anything... Skype. Alright, should we... Test.
I guess fiercely at your friends.
Okay, I think it's Will, actually. I think it's Will's cams. Alright, I'm gonna call everybody back here. And hopefully that'll fix it. Today he was mentioning something about...
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, boys.
That was weird. I think it was, I think we just had some iffy internets. Well, you started the call, so maybe your internet was being weird. So maybe there was just like a hiccup in the connection. But whatever.
Hello. There we go.
Must go back.
Oh yeah, Don't know if your Facebook sounds cool.
Oh yes, sorry. All the time.
It's just not good enough.
There we go. All right, are we back to all hearing one another again?
Yes, I believe.
Yes. Not so much
Cool, so the
saying,
last-
so I must have
The last
that.
thing
Oh, wait,
we
no.
heard
Yeah.
was Will asking Naomi why she doesn't meet a man's gaze, and then it all jibbed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay. Naomi responded saying that it's not my place to put my pride over proper position and politeness.
I think I said something like, where I come from, it is polite to look at your friends as fiercely as your enemies.
She'll slowly sort of look up and say, I guess if we're friends, then hello, friends. You get a sense that she doesn't have too many acquaintances or interact.
Yes,
too often
equally,
with others.
equally as kind of, I kind of think about what I said, and like, we are friends. Yes. We shall be friends.
That feel when Seto just friend zoned himself and he's just like,
Yeah.
shit,
God damn.
where I come from, people are laughing at me.
She'll give you like kind of a half smile just on the one side of her mouth before starting to blush quite a bit, and then she'll look down a bit flustered and start to fiddle with a small pouch that she has on her belt. And she'll open up the pouch, pull out the drawstring, and draw out a small pendant that would have been on some kind of necklace or chain, but the chain is missing. It's just a silver pendant that's been sort of roughly carved. It's not extremely high quality, but it's a fairly nice silver pendant with like a floral pattern on it. And she'll, again, sort of slowly trying to hold your eye contact as best she can, or at least not have her head down. She'll extend it to you and ask, that you take it, in thanks for having saved her. It's all she has. She doesn't have much, but she wanted you to have this.
I take it and just kind of hold it in my hand and say, thank you. I have nothing to give you.
She nods. She nods with a smile and says, "Oh, that's quite all right. They provide for us well on the farm. Ulrich is good to his workers."
I will find a gift. So it looks kind of like he's talking to himself. And he stands up quite abruptly and kind of heads off.
To find a gift.
To find a gift, yes.
She'll give an awkward bye, sort of over your shoulder behind you.
Yeah, I turn around and say, I bow and farewell, and then turn on my heels and go.
Cool. We can turn to, I guess, Ilithia and Maximus are both sort of in the camp, given that Maximus is sort of inspecting the jars, as far as Laris is concerned, hopefully filling them up at some point. And then Ilithia, that would leave you to sort of, get the fire started, things like that.
It's not particularly difficult, being covered in fire.
There was a bit of a planted pun there, but yeah. Okay, we're good. Glad we're all tracking.
But yeah, she kind of gathers some kindling and logs and stuff, and she puts a nice little fire in the middle of their little camp she's set up. She's got like all their tents are kind of around in a little circle, and you've got a little campfire in the middle, and it's all very friendly and awesome. It's all really good, and your Billy's kind of running around on the sand. And
I'll say he gets really excited when you sort of light the fire, with your hand or otherwise. He's obviously excited at, not only the lights, so he does respond to visual cues. They just have to be a little bit more dramatic or sharp. So he gets excited by the fire, and he sort of gets a little too close, and maybe you'll have to, make sure he doesn't burn himself.
Billy, stay away from the fire. It's hot.
All right, and Maximus. Maximus, how would you be going about filling the jars, or unfilling them, or unfilling them, however it processes for you?
So
Alicia just calls over her shoulder. She's like, they are empty,
I appreciate this is an extremely difficult task for you, given that it's invisible water, and knowing remembering which ones you fill and which ones you haven't.
No. There's there's an awkward moment. Like he starts filling them and like putting them, and then he stacked them so they're in separate piles, but the piles are almost next to each other because there's so many. And there's one moment where he just completely forgets which one it was, and he's just like, hold on. Like someone comes over and he's like, which ones are the full ones? And he's just like, hold on. And he goes to scan it with his gauntlet, and actually like maybe like one masonry jar, he like goes to scan it and it just vanishes, and he's like, oh. And he just looks at this guy and he's like, we don't have to tell anyone about that, right?
Cool. Yeah.
Cool.
You'll have this elaborate non-system of trying to sort these invisible jars being filled with invisible water.
Alicia turns around and she's just like, why don't you just keep the lids off the ones that are empty?
But what happens if they fall over and all the emptiness gets out? It might fill with something else.
Then you empty it and put the water in.
But how do you know if it's truly empty or if there is water in it? I know
He's
you.
not wrong.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I
Face
knew
harms.
you.
Wait a minute.
Okay, while Maximus is struggling to keep track of his unnecessarily complex Rube Goldberg machine of a system of where the full ones go and the other ones roll into, we'll cut to Jeckley, who is supposed to be hunting for something to eat. So, Jeckley, you headed into the woods rather than out to the water?
Yes.
Yeah, so just sort of light vegetation, not anything dense enough to be called like a forest, but sort of tall grasses, bushes, and sort of interspersed trees and things.
Okay. Is there some sort of like?
Yeah, so you can give me a
Survival or
perception. So give me a perception task.
Perception.
And I'll say the base difficulty is only going to be 2, just to find something. Tracking around, see if you can get some wildlife. Again, the idea would be you're looking for either enough small things or something big enough in and of itself to feed just about 8 or 9 folks. So.
Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm going
Perception
and
base 2.
Base 2. All right, so I go down to the bottom,
Yep.
click this button, and hope for success, which it was. Bam. That's not. I lied.
0.
It's 0. It's 0.
Okay.
I'm an idiot. Wasn't paying attention.
Okay, so you don't find anything substantial enough in and of itself to be able to feed everyone. So you're going to be sticking to small game like little birds and ferrets, things like that, which are going to be harder to hit. So you're going to have to make speed rolls, so speed attack rolls. And the base difficulty for these is going to be 3, and I'll say the amount of time that you have. So this roll will sort of represent your sort of your stalking as well as the actual shot, not just the shot itself.
Like my sock.
So you can make
the socking.
so you can make 3 speed rolls. Base difficulty for 3 on all of them.
2 successes, 1 failure.
2 success and a failure. So I'll say you managed to get sort of 2. They look sort of like sort of wild hares or rabbits, except instead of having long ears, they just don't have any ears. They don't seem to have any ears, or if they do, they're really sort of small in their fur. So they're these strange, they move just like hares or rabbits, sort of hop around nice and quick, but they don't have the longer ears.
This picture's like Doberman pointy small ears.
Kind of, yeah. So you get 2 of those. So it'll be a bit of a stretch to go around. Nobody's going to be, totally bursting after they've eaten, but there are a couple rations left, so it's not too dire, but you're not coming back with like a 10-point stag or anything like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
And then I
Now,
make my way back.
Yeah.
Will, did you want to look for a gift in the woods or out in the water, or?
I'd probably go around the camp. I'd probably like find the nearest man. And
Sure.
Have a new husband.
And just wrap him in like a bow,
In fact,
like knock him out. And you just like...
The one detail I
You
know
are
about
the
you, you're
gift.
missing this.
Yes, you do not have a husband. Now you do. I'd probably go and find Alicia actually, because she's a woman. And
I am in the camp by the fire with Billy.
Okay, I walk up to you and Billy and bow. Hello. My name is Seto Yashua.
I know your name, Seto. You don't need to bow.
My face when you trample over his culture.
He just stands awkwardly.
How does one unbow?
I do, but it is rude to
Like I can imagine, like he tries not to bow, so he just keeps his body straight, but his legs just bend up to like horizontal. He like cannot resist to bow.
He does like an Apollo. It's like, oh, you're not supposed to bow. Oh, I'm sorry. And bows
just
generically.
a little.
How can I help you, Seto?
I need a gift for a woman.
Are we gonna have another?
What kind of gift?
Another naked wedding? I hope so.
Oh no!
Yeah.
That's clearly what Seto is going for. He clearly understands the concept of relationships. He says, "You seem to like this creature."
This is Billy. Yes, I like Billy, and she kind of reaches for Billy and puts him on her lap, like possessively. It's like he's mine.
Do you have more Billies?
No, he was the only one that survived.
Can you make more Billy?
Not without another Billy. And all she's screaming in her head is, "Please don't make me have the birds and the bees talks with Seto. Please, no, I do not want
Anyone
this
else?
conversation."
I don't understand.
Even Maximus would be an easier birds in the beanstalk.
He's like so she he goes into for a pocket or something and brings out the little token that she gave him. Says, "She gave me this. I must return the gift."
Maximus just walks past and says, "You'll need a receipt, mate." And he's just like he continues wandering.
Gift receipt. Yeah.
It's like Alicia starts digging for her bag to see what she's got, see if she's got anything pretty and shiny that would suit a woman, and she kind of pulls out one of her ciphers. It is a little metal disc. It's got some really cool engravings on it and stuff. And I kind of just like, "I've got this." She hands it to him.
What is this?
I think it's a stealthy serpent.
Is this
It's a trouser snake.
appropriate?
It's pretty and could save her life one day.
Thank you, Alicia. And I bow. I turn to walk. I go back to Naomi with it. Hello.
It uncoils to like 17 inches, just so we're clear.
Okay.
Yeah, the effect is when activated, cipher uncoils to form a small metal serpent about 2 feet long.
17 inches.
And it remains animated for 1 round per cipher level. It can be given single command. That must be something it can accomplish within the allocated time.
Okay, well, I go back to Naomi and bow. Hello, my name is... he,
She'll be sort of writing in a little sort of diary or journal, just a little sort of pocket book.
Friend.
She'll look up and smile.
Returns with a gift. And I show her the 17 inches.
Bam! Finally.
Damn, there it is.
And she loves it. See, it does work.
She's actually going to sort of put her head down the minute you sort of produce this shiny
I
object.
bet she does.
And she's going to sort of hold up her hand and say, "No, Mr. Seto, we're not allowed to take gifts from others. You'd have to talk to Ulrich. We don't take anything other than from him. He pays us and feeds us, and that's all we can do. I can deliver it to him if you like.
Not take this. Who is this man?
Oh, well, he owns the farm, so he's sort of in charge of all of us, and we're not allowed to leave, so we just kind of work for him, and he keeps us warm and fed and safe. She essentially describes sort of indentured slavery on this farm.
This is Very dishonorable. Yeah, Seto kind of frowns and says, how can you be fleet?
She's sort of trying to process. She's kind of breathing a little bit faster now. She's kind of stumbling over her words. I only know one girl who got free in a farm, and they said her brother or her cousin or someone had to pay a whole lot of money. A whole lot of money. I don't have the money, and most of us don't leave. I mean, Mr. Oldridge is real nice. He keeps us fed, and he's never hit none of us. But I guess you'd have to pay him a bunch of money. She says that she's from a small sort of farming community just outside the Westwood, which is kind of on the western side of the province.
Well, he is not here. You can take what you want.
Well, she says, well, Mr. Oldridge gets real mad when we break the rules, so I can show it to him when I get home. I can carry it for you for now.
I will meet this man.
Well, I'm sure you'll like him. He's real kind folk.
Well, take this. And I...
She'll take it. That's pretty assertive.
Yeah. Take this, and I will speak with this man.
She'll sort of nod and try and do a bit of a bow with her shoulders because she's seen you bowing a bunch when she takes it. And then you notice that the minute she sort of gets it in her hands, she's very possessive of it. She's very grateful. She does like it. She was just too modest to want to like it or enjoy it, but she does think it's pretty.
Jeez.
Okay. Do you like it? I can't even.
Do you like it? Well, I don't know how my daddy would think about it. Basically what's going on in her mind right now.
Yeah. Yeah. But Ulrich, I need to write this man's name down so I can kill him later.
Yeah.
For his dishonorable
From
behavior.
the knave to the chops.
Yes. Okay, so yeah, pretty just... no, I actually meant to be watching, so I go and watch out.
Cool. So you're in sort of a bit of a sort of depression. There isn't a lot of trees and a bit of a sort of clearing near the shore of the lake. So you've got a decent spot to set up probably.
Just had a thought, is Jet Li back from his hunt at this point?
We'll say he's just sort of coming back as you're heading back out to watch.
I see him and say, Jet Li.
Yeah.
I have made a friend.
Right. And I've got two of these things.
Yes. But my friend is in... needs help.
With?
A man named Aurulians. He is a owner of her. This is very dishonorable.
He owns your friend.
Yes.
So she's a slave?
I suppose.
I'll say, Jekyll, you're pretty familiar with indentured or landed help, people who are sort of attached to the sort of morsels of land. So it's not that he would own her specifically. If a new owner bought the land, they would get the people who live there. So kind of a fiefdom sort of thing.
So you want what from me?
Your help when we return.
Yeah, I help. Yeah, sure. But what are we doing? Are we going to meet him? What's happening?
We will meet him, and if he is breaking the laws, we will enact justice upon him.
You mean kill him?
Yes.
Right. All right. Cool.
Yeah, Jekyll, you know that it's definitely not against the law to have sort of indentured labor on land if you own a land title. If you feel like trying to explain that to Seto, that it's not against the law what he does.
Right. Well, I mean, you do know that it's not really against the law for this, but I understand where you're coming from.
Whose laws, Alice? Who makes these laws? Does this man make the laws?
Yeah,
Men like
no.
him make clothes like this.
No, but we did fight and kill people who were making the laws, and
Well, you attacked them.
yeah, I did, yeah, and we.
I defended myself. I am not guilty of murder.
Right. Well. Anyway, you want to? Okay, yeah, sure. Let's see. Ulrich, what's his name?
Ulrich, I think.
Ulrich. Yeah, sure. Let's go. Is he here? Where is he?
No, back on a farm.
Oh, yeah, sure. Of course. Let's meet him and talk with him and see if he can let your friend free or something.
Yes, which is most dishonorable behavior, to own another man's soul. A man should be free.
But it's a woman you're speaking about. So
Yes.
do you mean man or do you
A
mean
man
human?
should be free.
Because by
Yes.
saying man, you're just being a bit misogynistic. So do you mean
What is this
human?
word?
Whatever. Anyway,
Yes.
yeah, well,
A man
I
should
think I
be
know what you're
free.
talking about. Right. And women.
Yes, as I
Yes.
said, a man should be free.
And women.
As I said.
Right. Anyway, you want some of this?
It just doesn't understand.
Cord, do you want to actually take a second and just remind chat what happened in the first session? Why, what is it that Seto's referencing? when he makes-
In the first
Killed
session
these-
with just Seto, Yeshuan, and Jekli, when we first met those characters, they went into a tavern, and there seemed to be some racism upon the guards that were there. They were all drinking after their shift or whatever, and they weren't taking very kindly to Seto. And they were like, hey, when you leave here, don't come back. And then we were like, okay. And then we ended up coming back for some reason. And they were like, hey, we said not to come back. And then we were like, okay. And then and then Jekli drew his wrist blade and threatened them, and they did not take kindly to that. So we murdered them.
More precisely, they were about to start beating you with their fists, and
Yeah.
Jekli leapt forward and stabbed their captain in the stomach with his blade.
Anyway.
So things escalated a little. But Jekli has his reasons to dislike the sort of xenophobic
Yep.
perspective.
He's not very proud of a lot of the morals that the Empire inherits. So he doesn't really care about. I mean, he's slowly enjoying killing them. So more and more. So he's been cooped up working as an IT guy for the government for a while, and then he just got kind of bored, and now he's like, I have a talent for killing people. So yeah, he that was what he was referencing. Seto, of course, killed some people, but Seto thinks it's all.
It was in self-defense,
Yeah,
technically
self-defense,
first.
so he's not
And
guilty.
I was an unarmed man, which is very dishonorable.
Very true.
Yeah. So on official Imperial records, the two of them are wanted for having slain 4 Imperial soldiers off duty in what we sort of characterized as like lukewarm blood. It definitely wasn't like cold blood. But either way, they killed 4 Imperials. Seto thinks he's like completely that he did absolutely nothing wrong, and.
It's true.
Jekli kind of is irked by the Empire in general at the moment, so he's less concerned. Although at least Jekli knows why they think he's now a wanted man. So
Seto doesn't really.
They probably wanted
He's-
me anyway.
Yeah, Seto isn't above the law, but he just lives by a different law. He doesn't know the laws of the Empire. He lives by his own kind of code of honor and conduct, and
He marches to the beat of his own drum.
yeah, the whole
Yeah.
ignorance of the law is no defense to the law would be what incarcerates Seto in a big way.
yeah.
Cool. So
But yeah.
that is going on. You guys have that little chat about Mr. Ulrich and his sort of feudal ownership over Naomi at the farm near the Westwood, while sort of dusk is slipping and it is becoming evening as the camp is getting set up. All of you notice one of the other travelers that you're with who seemed to only have come to the Invisible Lake to sort of wash some type of cloth that he had. So he spent the majority of the time sort of scrubbing, trying to scrub stains out of about a 3.5 foot piece of fabric that had quite a shimmer to it. It was kind of like a silver whitish fabric. Just rectangular. It wasn't shaped. It wasn't a garment or anything like that. But he was eagerly sort of trying to clean this in the invisible lake. This traveler, was wearing sort of a wrapped scarf, kind of high up on his mouth. His nose is exposed, and he did have sort of steampunk-esque kind of goggles. Not quite as elaborate as the ones that Maximus has with the multiple filters and things, but he did have a pair of sort of like protruding, sort of double-eyed goggles that he was wearing. But other than that, everyone else was just sort of setting up camp as they would. So it is coming on to dusk. Seto, are you going to be on watch all night, or are you going to rotate it, or how's that going to work?
Yeah, he's on. He doesn't really sleep too well. So when he does, he meditates during the day and stuff. So he doesn't. Yeah, he's on watch all night probably.
Cool. Is anyone else in the group going to stay on watch with Seto, or are you all going to relax and sleep?
Alicia will... Oh, God.
Well memed, sir.
It's going as my
That's
background.
going on Facebook.
That's going on my background.
Said I have
Typical-
some professional Photoshop.
Yeah, the word professional is key in that.
Oh, that's so good.
How did you capture such a equal parts like disgusted and like you are mine face on my part? Like, so good, 100% legit.
It's just 100% what you do all the time.
Yeah, awesome. Can we give that man some gold? Let's give that man some gold.
I am a gracious god.
Exactly. The gracious god demands that he gets 1,000 gold.
I am a generous god.
Oh, God,
All right.
that's so good.
1,700 riches. Cool. So does anybody want to stay up on watch for any amount of time with Seto? Seto's offered to stay up the whole night on his own.
Yeah.
Alicia is going to be up early hours of the morning, like 3-4 a.m. type thing, just as the sun starts coming up, and she'll kind of take over and go up to Seto and be like, you should get some sleep before we start going.
Okay, we'll stay back in the evening to figure out. So you'll be sleeping through the night because your plan will be to take the early morning shift. Josh, you said you might stay up a little bit as well.
Yeah. So Josh is not here, but
Maybe he is.
Max, he could be. He could be Maximus. Who knows? So Maximus is actually going to. He's going to be tinkering with this bike thing, and seeing if he can sort of figure out how it works.
Yeah, I'll say you've been like towing it. You'll have been towing it up to this point.
Yeah.
Because it's on the floating crystal. Cool.
And yeah, I'm trying to see if I can sort of figure out how it works. Me being a nano, I'm actually experienced with tech, and I'm also experienced in let me just bring up my understanding / identifying Numenera is what I'm trained in.
Cool,
So-
perfect. So you've got training in 2 levels here. So you're going to get 2 difficulty reductions. One because you're trained in technology or machinery, which it is, and also it's sort of a past technology as well. So that'll double up. So you'll have 2. Cord will Jekyll sort of be piqued interest. Will he be sort of intrigued at seeing Maximus tinkering with this sort of engine, essentially, instead of going to sleep? Yeah. So will you be in on that with him?
He's going to stay up anyway, but after seeing that, he's probably going to be like, you know what, I was going to go to bed, but you know what, I'll probably help you out.
Cool. So if you're going to help him out, that'll give him. So he's got training coming from 2 spots, and then you can give him an asset. And then if you provide tools as well, because you've got a pack of tools, Cord.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll unpack this for chat mechanically. So in this game system, you can reduce the difficulty of a task all the way to 0 to the point where you don't have to roll. So Josh is wanting to tinker with this sort of strange lawnmower engine that's been strapped to a crystal that itself defies gravity. He wants to tinker with it to do a number of things, which he can sort of talk about himself. But the base difficulty class on this would have been a difficulty 4 to sort of fix this engine, tweak it a little bit, get it back to running. It was a little bit damaged. Because Josh has 2 levels of skill training that apply to this, and because he has help from Cord, who's trained, and Cord's tools, that's 4 reductions. So the DC is 0. So no roll required. Josh, within limits, I'll obviously impose a little bit of structure here. You can have your way with this machine and tweak it however you like, because you don't have to roll. It's an automatic success on a DC 4. What I will say is that it seems to be like a combustion type engine that has kind of like a rather than a steady propeller, it gives it these kind of like farts, these kind of like bursts of propulsion, and it seems to be able to run hot enough that it would be able to burn like anything combustible. So like anything other than like metal or rocks, you'd be able to like shove into the top of this pipe and use that as fuel. But anything you could think of, you can tweak it to adjust how it works, whether you want it to go faster or higher or however, whatever, you can just do what you want with this machine. Take it apart to make it do something else.
Yeah, could I essentially figure out how to make it hydrogen powered? Because we are next to a lake, so I'm sort of
hydrogen.
Yeah, so I figure out how to sort of make it run on
basically try to figure out how to get it to run hotter so it would like burn and like actually.
What's the gas that is actually heavier than air? Is it carbon?
Nitrogen.
Could be. There's
nitrogen's
carbon
heavier
dioxide or something as well.
On its own.
Not dioxide.
Science.
Do you mean hydrogen or hydro-powered?
Hydro-powered. Yeah. So basically, to run on water.
Sure.
And like after a while, like we tinker for like quite a while, and eventually, like there's this moment where I look at. Oh god, I'm so bad with. I like the fact that I'm quite bad with names because it really suits Maximus's character because he's just like, oh. Well,
Susan, get over here.
He's like, I'm like, you, Cord. No, that's not your name. Hold on.
What?
Why do I get the feeling you look like a cord? That's all. Maybe you just struck a chord with me. Yeah, no, I'm just gonna. And he gets on this bike and he's like, right. Well, this is. We'll just see how this goes. And he like, does it work? Like when I sort of bring it up online, does it sort of lift up? And I know it's already sort of floating, but do I have some sort of control? Do I get it?
Yeah, so I'll say there's like a motorcycle pedal that you can sort of kip to get it to like propel forward.
Yeah, and so that's happening, and like as I'm doing this, like my gauntlet starts doing all this really really weird sort of shit, and I'm just like, Jeckley, right? How do? And I'm like getting higher and higher on my Jeckley, how does? That's not supposed to be. Why is that? Oh crap! And then I vanish entirely, bike and all, and we vanish. And
what happened? He's got my tool.
I just, yeah. I imagine like I've left your tools behind, but because like I've taken everything off the bike and just it's running now, so it's on the floor. But me and the actual bike itself vanish.
Josh, was this like the temporary vanish that we talked about at the end of last week?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna jump in here for a sec. Cool. So we'll say that you get the engine sort of running off of the lake water, sort of like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. So it's like really, really dark. Nobody really is going to get a great sleep because you were tinkering and sort of muttering excitedly with Jeckley and making a bit of noise. Obviously, the engine was making noise as well as you tweaked and cranked and used all the tools and stuff.
Definitely a bonding
like,
experience between the both of us.
Yeah. Like I imagine, like it's quite a lot of fun, and you kind of. I feel like you kind of you see past my eccentric personality and realise that deep down I'm really quite beautiful underneath it all.
Deep down, you're just as bad as we thought you were.
Temporarily beautiful, and I imagine it like backfires like in the way of like a proper, like I'm thinking like the original sort of like Ford Model T, like where it used to just bang and like everything like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what happens?
Yeah, so while that was going on, obviously everyone was sort of struggling to sleep. Seto, you were sort of watching on guard to make sure that nothing else was sort of approaching or around, whether it's wildlife or what have you. I'll say that right as Josh disappears, as Maximus disappears, and Maximus, you can take an XP for this because you're going to disappear at a particularly inopportune moment. Will, I need a perception task of a base difficulty 4 from you.
Okay, I will give that a go. Here we go. Yes, we'll like kill us all. So one success. Hey, make that difficult ones. Just can't make the easy ones.
Okay, so Seto, you are going to hear. Actually, now Myth, don't do this obviously for Beth's sake, but a sort of rapid clicking noises coming from 3 or 4 different points in the woods. Rapid clicking noises, and then you're going to hear what sounds like a crank sort of catching, like a ka-chunk, as something locks mechanical into place at anywhere from a 50 to like a 60-foot distance from you into the tree line. And you're able to react because you did hear that in time.
Me?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, me? I thought you said chord. Sorry, I was.
Oh no, he
No,
said
no,
don't
you,
do this. Don't make the sound. Because it's
yeah,
rapid
chord,
clicking.
yeah, the rapid clicking. You know,
It
could
sounds
sound
like spider noise bait. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. So rather than actually making spider noise,
Just talking about it makes my skin crawl, man.
they're not spiders, Beth. I promise I wouldn't be that deliberately
Good.
mean.
Thank you.
But a strange sort of clicking noise from 3 or 4 different points, and then from 1 point further on, a sort of loud clunk as something mechanical locks into place in the woods.
I raise the alarm.
And how Seto do that?
He just walks up, he breaks the glass and then like hits the bell underneath.
yeah, pull the fire alarm. I kind of run down and say, "There is something in the woods. Everyone, awaken!"
Okay, so everybody can have an asset.
Probably
on
already
the
awake.
upcoming. Yeah, so we'll say like that. Maximus disappears, and then the minute Maximus disappears, Cord, you're just sort of like sitting there, and then all of a sudden Seto runs down and says like, "Things in the woods," and you're just like, "What the fuck?" Like on both sides, there's weird shit happening. Beth, you're roused by this, as
We're aroused by this.
roused. There was no A there.
It's Seto's accent.
Aroused, not aroused.
Just hear Seto's voice. Oh.
And everyone else in the camp is roused as well. So you all have a reduction on the difficulty of this task. I need a speed defense task from everybody. And the difficulty on this would be a 4, but it's reduced to a 3 as the base.
3, and I have training in speed defense, so it's a 2 for me. Watch me fail. Oh, just about 7. Everyone's
I
right.
got a success.
Is this a
17.
mental effect?
No, this is not a mental effect.
Okay. 3 base? Speed?
Base 3, yep. Speed.
And our pools are not reset, are they?
If you guys had wanted to... Actually, yeah, I will say you guys can have chosen to have spent as many of your recovery actions for the day
that's true.
as you wanted.
Okay, so I'm going to reset my pools back to norm and then decide from there.
Do they go back up?
How do you use your recovery actions?
So it says each one just takes longer, like subsequently the more you use per day.
Because I get +1 to recovery rolls.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's
it's
it,
you roll a
yeah.
d6 and then plus your level. So Beth, instead of just a d6 +1, you get to roll a d6 +2 for each recovery roll. I think it goes 1 minute, or sorry, it goes an action, a minute, 10 minutes, and an hour. Something like confirm that on their character sheet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then 10 hours.
So yeah, you guys can have spent all 4 of those in the multiple hours that it's been like resting, if you were resting. So you can burn all 4 recovery rolls if you want, put those points back. Keep in mind you won't get those rolls back to you until tomorrow, so until morning.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
fine.
So
Yeah,
roll in some
I'm
recovery and
not
put
particularly
those points
bothered.
back in the rolls.
You don't even need to roll. I think you could probably just legit put them back.
Probably just go back all the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just okay.
Unless, depending on how much you spent, I spent about.
Well, yeah, I'll probably do some rolls actually. I'll just one roll.
Yeah, if you guys
Yeah,
were missing quite a bit.
My pool was at 0, so actually.
Yeah. And I'll probably do one.
Oh,
Wow,
does that mean
pulling out some recovery? Sorry, go ahead, Josh.
I've got I'm impaired? Does that mean I take that off?
Yeah, once impaired only stays while one of your pools is at 0. So
Yeah, that,
Cool.
that recovers me right there. So yeah.
Okay. And what about effort?
yeah,
cool.
so you're.
Okay.
Yeah. Everyone's good. They've rolled out their
Yep,
stuff.
I'm actually going to spend 3 speed to reduce this to a 2. And I got a success.
Okay, my Skype is going all robotic.
Hello.
Oh,
Skype
No, that's
ruined
better.
me tonight. Good, good.
who
Okay, so
hosted this
you're
call?
spending 3 speed, 2 as a base, and you got a success. So never succeed.
All right, someone else but will host this call. Bad people, Beth, and Mitch.
There we go.
There you are. Are you in this new call?
Good, yeah.
Seems to be better.
Oh, everybody's back?
Hello.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
All right, let me check and
So I think everyone
see what's
succeeded on that.
Yes, yeah.
We're back. We're all good.
We're good, yeah. I just gotta fix cams.
We all succeeded.
Yeah, so everyone succeeded. Just sort of tailing behind Seto as Seto's rushing down the small slope to say, "There's something in the woods, everybody get up." He is going to be followed, like, over his shoulder, and he's going to sort of hear these noises, and he can sort of choose how that would look as he's running down the hill. Just as he finishes sort of getting the words out of his mouth, waking everybody up, a sputtering of several grenades sort of fires, sort of thump, 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 thump. And it seems to be sort of scattering that goes sort of wide left, wide right, and then closer, sort of bum, 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 and then far outwards, and sort of scattering back in. That just sort of peppers your whole area of camp. And these are sort of incendiary grenades that just light everything. But you all succeeded in dodging. So you can describe how you would have dodged. Seto, they're coming over your shoulder from behind you. Jekli, you're sort of kneeling on the ground where Maximus just disappeared. And Beth, you would have just woken up as this started to happen.
Seto's just like jumping down this hill, kind of like doing a couple of rolls every now and again, and he's trying to find his friends and Naomi.
Okay, actually, Seto, you had a 17 on your success.
The perfect number.
So I'll say, as
One
a
for
small,
every inch.
a small minor, I'll say that you can somehow protect Naomi from getting hit by one of these grenades, whatever that looks like
Yeah,
for you.
I just kind of do the whole jump on to her over grenades.
Can I make a suggestion that just
Yeah.
sounds absolutely amazing? I like Seto's got like an epic katana, doesn't he? There.
Yep.
Yeah,
Have this image of like the grenade coming towards, and you just like
it's kind of.
grenade, and you slice like the the primer.
Oh, yeah.
end. You just slice that off, and it lands and just doesn't go off, and you are just like, oh, just like, oh.
I'm like, I don't know how I knew how to do that.
Cool. So
Jekli-
Beth, sorry,
My love
Jackie, go
for
ahead.
you, my love for you guides my blade.
Jekli's probably in like this wide kneel,
love that
kind of
as
been
well.
like, where did he go? And then so we start to hear the clicking and the and then he probably sees. He like looks over his shoulder because he's getting that weird feeling because now Maximus is gone and now he's still kind of feeling that flicker of unease, and he just looks behind him for a second and then he notices like out of like the bush in the distance like a leaf just like flickers, and then from where that leaf flickered like a turtle-sized object flying out at him, and then he kind of just ducks out of the way, like probably processes it as it's flying towards him, and then he does like a combat roll up, strafing roll up his back or across his back and then up to his feet, and then kind of makes his way towards everybody. So from his knees, he does like a sideways roll up to his feet.
Cool. Now, Beth, did you want to take a quick break just for a minute before we dive into this? I just saw your Skype thing a bit late.
I was going to say, we refuel real quick and then...
yeah, no worries.
It's good.
Awesome.
Be right back.
We should be back
Yeah,
momentarily.
it has been confirmed. 1700.
Confirmed in the annals. That's just,
Right in the annals.
Right in the anals, yeah.
Oh dear.
That's how you pronounce that, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
American girls.
Yep. So let's talk through some things that's happening. Did someone say PHB?
I did.
Yeah, they did.
I thought so, because we have a copy here that you guys can win. Exclamation point giveaway. You guys don't know that you can win a copy of the PHB. Go and do it.
Go and do it.
Just
do it.
do it.
We are. Do we know? Are we confirmed yet on our news? Or do we know about them?
We're kind of we're kind of at a semi right now.
We're at a semi. Yeah.
We're kind of riding a semi on the 24th to be the next 24-hour stream.
So 24 hours on the 24th day of October.
The 24th.
Did you guys realize? Did you know? I don't know if this is true. I didn't actually do any diligence and check it out, but I saw a meme. It was that this Halloween is the first Halloween in 666 years, where Halloween is on Friday the 30, like it's like the 31st, like inverted 13 or something like that.
Oh.
I don't know. There was something. I'm gonna look it up. But it's on a Friday. Hold on.
Mitch,
Yes.
could you keep your eye on Skype real quick? Because I'm just going to send you a few messages while I'm on the
No
break.
Skypey. Oh, yeah, I guess.
It's gonna send
No,
you a
just
couple of
between.
nudes.
Keep an eye on.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
Just a couple of nudes whilst you're on a break. That's cool. A couple of shout-outs to World Building and Saving Private Bacon, who followed whilst offline, as well as Boring Old Tyler and Fate Weaver UK. You guys are awesome. Yep, the parent game is still in the works, so trying to figure out a date for that. In fact, I spoke to Beth and Josh about
Thinking
this
of one, yeah.
a couple of minutes ago. So, yeah.
Yes, it is in the works, and I am waiting for my mother to get back to me to see when they can do it.
Sounds stupid. It's
I should have had
pretty
food
dubious.
today. I don't know if I've eaten. Have I eaten today? No. Damn it, I'm bad. I'm bad at being a person.
I'm getting food in shortly. Apparently it was delayed, so I get my
Ooh.
food in a bit.
Two pairs of glasses on. Check this out. Figure that out. Stream. Boya Poya's in chat. Didn't see.
But yeah,
It's the idea that you
you
spend
guys,
some of your time together pretending to be a moody magic user. One sec, please.
the meme sent in by a typical GM is proudly up on our Facebook page.
Awesome.
Ooh, yeah, right on.
Is it our cover photo? Because it should be.
No, our cover photo is the schedule.
Ugh, just
But
embarrassing.
that does actually need updating because it's last season's
Oh, is it last
schedule,
season's?
not the season schedule.
Oh, that is a good one. Look at that. Oh, good. Oh, man.
We should get him on as a full-time artist for the group.
How dare you say that? How dare you? I'm the artist. Then I won't have
We
a
have
job.
Nick's as well.
So yeah, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, as you may be later, the link we are talking about, the image that we are laughing so hard at, is now on our Facebook. So if you don't know where
Did
that
anyone
is,
find
obviously
that
go to
camel?
Facebook and take a look. The
Anyone
camel?
find the budget?
Yeah, I did. I found the camel. It's somewhere in chat.
Okay, good. That's,
Yeah, we
that's
should
important to
look
me.
it up again. It's important to
That
me.
is like the standard, like those things are used for
Is
like
it?
as horses as well as like mules and like cattle as
There's
like
a lot
herding
of them actually. There's a lot of these images.
All
just
you need to do is put in bipedal camel, and there are lots of them.
Bipedal
Is this
horse
already
is good
thing
too.
somehow?
Yeah, apparently. Also, my favorite. Ooh, a bipedal cheetah. My favorite thing on the internet is the Birds with Arms subreddit.
What?
Yep.
Send me the link right now.
Yeah,
This is new era. That shit might show up. You might be going to hunt those for rations one day.
Birds with arms.
You don't know.
It's people just photoshopping birds with arms. It's human arms. It's so good. It's a whole subreddit.
Did you drop it in chat?
I'm going to run now.
Run now.
Run now.
Do you know what I really fancy
Sitting
right
on
now?
Birds with arms. Exactly. It's a good one.
I love how good some of the Photoshop is. That's what
Yeah.
makes this awesome.
It's
For anybody
one
in
of the
chat
bad ones.
who's watching for the first time, make sure to hit that follow button. These fine folks here at Encounter Roleplay stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Monday currently is our Numenera game. Wednesday, Thursdays. I think Wednesday they're doing Out of the Abyss. Thursday they're doing a Westmarch style D&D 5e. So lots of fun. They do 24-hour streams all the time. They're all really sweet dudes and dudettes.
That's right, we are.
Comedy.
He's not wrong. So click that button.
Hit the follow button. Tell your friends. Make
Tell
fake
them to hit the
accounts.
follow button.
Every
Yeah, make fake accounts
Fake
yeah.
accounts are welcome.
Yep, make tons of them. No robots, or I'll kill you all. I'll kill you all. I'll kill you, robot. But yes, the we also every 50 followers. I probably won't be able to do that. I can't do that. Well, I'll kill you, robot. That's for sure. I'm really good at killing polygons and robots. Ask any of my MMOs.
Is it weird that the bipedal hippo looks like it could actually be a thing? Like way more so than the bipedal camel?
All right, I'll look it up. Well, okay.
Irving just dropped one in chat.
Oh. Yeah, because the ones I found are that's a flayed. That is a flayed hippo. That is not what I wanted to look at. So let me look at that one again. But yeah, every 50 followers we do a viewer vote here in game.
How many until the next viewer vote?
I don't know math. We're at 728, so we're at what is that? The 22 more.
Yeah.
Until we're at 750. That means a viewer vote. So tell your friends. It'll be hilarious. You guys can vote for crazy cool things. Oh, that is cool. The bipedal hippo. That's adorable.
And the last viewer vote was.
I want to say it was Crystal Goblins, but yeah, it was.
It
Crystal
was
Goblins.
Crystal
I think it
Goblins.
was, yeah. Goblins,
Goblins riding crystal motorbikes. It was fairly epic.
And apropos.
Yep.
Quite apropos.
And for once, the viewer vote actually fit in with the storyline. Go figure.
Well, yeah. Well, no, we had a couple, didn't we? We had
The Kraken doesn't count because that just screwed everything up.
that doesn't count, but it fit. I don't think Solace had one.
There was
Thank
the
you.
ogre that was super infatuated and in heat and was really into
That's
the
true.
dainty
Yeah,
elf.
that was good. Thank you, Ingy.
Yeah.
I'm awful at math. Thank you, DNVN Quinn, for the follow. Welcome to the adventure. You are a gentle person and a scholar. Enjoy that free gold. Don't blow it all in one place. Hey, Undead Baron, welcome to chat, buddy. Welcome.
We are
to
just
the
about to get
ninth
started again.
world.
Will is running to the door. He had food delivered to him like
Groceries.
I was gonna
not
say
just like dinner.
I was gonna say chump, but like I'm really
Chump.
impressed. Like anyone who can get
And
that.
Josh has just returned from making coffee, which
yes.
Ooh, wonderful.
is good.
How do you guys have coffee
bless.
at like 11 at night and not fall asleep?
Are you painting your nails?
Decaf?
Yes,
maybe?
I'm painting my nails.
I don't know.
That cup was really. How
Like
do
a
we
true
have
boss.
coffee
I
at
usually
night?
paint my nails during
Irving
stream, too.
Wolf, a sky kraken that will
Oh my
fly
God,
by
sky
and grab
kraken.
people and carry them off. Irving Wolf, if you get in enough votes by telling all your friends
That's
or
a-
enough
that's a great idea.
followers, then we won't even have a strap wall. I'll just drop that shit in.
Yeah, sky kraken. That's
You-
sick.
it will be your viewer decision.
Just imagine that thing undulating and being like, "Whoa." That because it makes noises in my mind. But that'd be crazy.
And if you do want to have some kind of effect on the game, scroll down a bit and have a look at our donate list.
Very true.
True.
You can play
Another option.
anytime. You don't have to wait every 50 followers. Just scroll on down and take a look at our donation program and how you can give us inspiration, which we could figure out. I guess that would be an asset.
Yeah.
to the game. It would bump our difficulty down a little bit. How you can add people to the story, how you could name characters, you could even suggest that Kraken. You can make that Kraken happen just by donating a certain amount.
Please don't, though.
Make it
Krakens
Kraken
are
like
nasty.
Sky Kraken? Hell yeah. Like rides a thunderstorm. Or like it spits out
While
a
we are
thunderstorm.
waiting
Sick.
for Will, Josh, you're back.
Yep.
Roll out that
that
oddity.
Roll that oddity. Roll that oddity indeed. It's 1d100, isn't it?
No, I've got the expanded list. I need 2 D100s.
Oh,
Wow.
balls. You've upgraded.
The first one determines which table it's on, and the second one is 100 options for the table.
Jesus Christ. 122? So
it's
39
39
and
and
83. Sorry. 39,
Okay.
83.
Oh, wow. Quick math.
39 and 83.
Yeah.
Very cool. It is a 6-inch wand of glass
17.
that can be bent and even tied in a knot without breaking. So it's a like bendable, malleable cylinder of glass.
Would I be able to make a...
That's
If
awesome.
it's 60... Can we say it's a little bit longer than that? Just because I've got this. I mean, it's up to you, but I've got the idea I've got in my head. Essentially, if it's made of glass, I essentially want to be able to make like a bendable glass rose out of it, like by like folding it into like
Yeah, totally.
just yeah.
Add 11 inches
So
to it.
so everyone, just so everyone's tracking in chat, Josh is playing a character named Maximus, who is a nano, which in the world of Numenera is sort of the caster type. They're sort of like technicians or sort of machine casters. And
Often
his
confused
focus,
with wizards.
Yep. His focus is that he travels through time. Now, given that we're only tier 1 characters, Josh has no control
Very little.
over his time travel. Once he becomes a tier 6 character, which is like the equivalent of being like level 18 in games like Dungeons and Dragons, he will be able to control his own time travel. And there's actually nothing in the book that says like he couldn't be uncontrollably traveling through time. So every once in a while, him and I introduce these little hiccups where he comes up with fun and interesting ways for them to happen. So I just threw him an experience point to have one of his hiccups happen at a really inopportune time right before a fight starts. So now he's going to be disadvantaged when he jumps into the fight late. And in exchange, he got to roll another oddity, and he has come up with some pretty interesting exploits that will have happened while he was gone in the past a couple of weeks. And he, manages to procure this this cylinder of glass that he's folded into like a balloon animal flower.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So
Yeah, hiccups
Cool.
are kind of like wild magic. Yeah, kind of like
Yeah.
wild magic. I mean, the cipher system is much more like narrative. It's much more like open-ended. It doesn't need as much kind of rigid. Every time you roll a 1 on a roll a d20, and then if it's a 1, then a thing triggers. Then you roll a d100. I can just sort of choose when this type of stuff happens, which is really cool.
Boys.
But in
Boys.
exchange, what we do is we have something called XP. So essentially, the system works that every time you get like a hiccup or like a negative something that happens, that Delinear just turns around and says, "Right, here you go. This is gonna happen now," and it's like a little thing that happens, and it's an extra bit of bad on top, where you get an XP point, and they build up, and you can spend them to basically turn around and cancel out this extra negative that he adds on when you fancy it. So if there's a particular nasty one that comes on, you can do it. But I mean, you get them for all sorts. Beth got one for being vomited on by a
Yeah,
pterodactyl.
no, it's a Galgatrix.
Galgatrix.
I got thrown up on by a baby Galgatrix and got XP. So
Yeah, and you can spend XP to re-roll, things like that too. So there's lots of like narrative freedom. Like this game encourages players to like as much be in control of the story as me, which is cool. So where we left off, Seto was running down a hill with grenades firing over his shoulders. Everyone in the camp was sort of rushing awake, rolling left and right as best they could to dodge these sort of explosive projectiles. Maximus is still nowhere to be seen, having hiccuped away with his strange little crystal motorbike. And you are now set upon, we're going to need initiative rolls. You are set upon, as you all sort of look towards the tree line, you are going to see 3 tall, skinny, sort of gaunt humanoid figures that are fairly reflective, so they don't seem to have any kind of clothing on, and their sort of texture is definitely not fleshy or feathery because it's reflective. They look kind of metallic. These creatures are probably about 8.5 feet tall, so they're these tall, gaunt humanoid figures, and they're standing in the tree line, and they've all got sort of what look like, how do you describe a gun without saying gun? Sort of tube-like, it's a large
Blow
tube.
sticks.
Blow sticks, yeah, but they're sort of...
Is this their boomstick?
Shoulders, they're boomsticks, yeah.
Boomstick.
So we're
Yes.
going to roll initiative.
I've got that boom stick.
Josh, you're going to roll initiative as well, but it's going to be a harder difficulty for you because
Yeah.
you're coming from another time, so it's going to be a more of a hiccup.
Oh yeah, thanks,
So-
Quinn, for rolling. I missed it.
What initiative level?
Yep, so these guys are level 4. So the starting difficulty is 4 if you want to go before these creatures. And again, you can spend speed points to reduce the DC on your initiative if you like as well. There's arguments, like there's people who say that spending points on initiative is more like economical than spending points in individual AC rolls because you're going first or whatever, mitigate.
I'll do that.
Your call how well you want to think through that, but base difficulty of 4.
I'll spend
Base difficulty
3
of
points.
4.
Is that correct?
It'll be 3 speed points. Josh, your base difficulty is 6.
It's 6. Okay, I'm gonna
Oh,
spend
still
3 to
fail.
knock it down to 5.
Okay.
I've spent 3 to knock it down to 3. With a success on a 17. 17
Do I
seems
get
to be
a
my
bon-
limit.
Do I get an asset for the fact that I am on a vehicle that
Nope,
travels?
you got the XP because it's making you come in at an inopportune
Okay,
time.
cool. Okay, cool.
Just want
which
to
case?
explain my process.
Damn it.
Sure.
Just to chat. So just for chat, not you guys. So the way this is working initiative wise, it is we as the players are trying to yes or no go before or after the enemy. You said it's base 4, correct? Yeah. Okay. So it's base 4. I can spend speed if I want to go down, but Jack Lee doesn't really care when he wants to go, if he wants to go first or not. So I'm gonna roll here at 4. And hope for the best. I rolled a 17, another great number.
Cool.
Giving me...
So many 17s today.
I know.
It's a sign.
It's a sign. It's
The
it's telling
donger
us
is
we already
I
strong
know.
think
today.
Will has
The
rigged
donger
roll
is
20.
strong.
So many
My
midichlorians.
donger has...
Donger.
1,700 midichlorians.
Okay, so
All of my
Jekli and Alithia get to go before these creatures. The creatures will go after, and then Seto and Maximus, you're going to be rolling in last, and you'll obviously have the advantage of a slightly more interesting entrance into this foray. But otherwise, these creatures are within a sort of 35 foot radius, so they're within immediate range, so you can move up to them and attack in the same round, or there's lots around you for cover because of the caravan and the tents and things, so do what you would like. Jekli and Alithia, you can choose between the two. You got the same number, so if one of you wants to go first or you want to combo off each other, that's all good.
Well, you're further away from the camp, aren't you, Cord?
Yeah.
Because you were tinkering, so it'd make more sense for you to go first because they're more likely to bump into you first, unless you're running away.
So there's these stork things in the trees, these tall looking things in the trees.
They are standing beside the trees, but they're tall, so I mean they're not up in the treetops. But I'll see if I can find a photo.
Thanks, Baron,
Go
for
to
the
Reddit.
host. And Quinn says, man, this encounter website is sexy times.
It is,
Oh,
indeed.
yeah.
If you want to see
Ah,
some
fair.
real sexy times, you should watch back the Cold Harbour episodes. They were particularly sexual.
Okay.
Anything with Rem in is...
Or Beth's birthday stream.
Or Beth's birthday stream.
See Will in a course.
Don't ever do that.
That was
Oh,
pretty sexy.
oh, that is a bad thing. That is
Those
a
are
bad,
the
bad thing.
creatures. Yeah.
Oh, they look nasty.
You've been a bad alien.
Are they the stalk people?
You know that the stork people are mutants of humans, so they should look more human, at least in texture. And you know that the stork people were described as having like the sort of elongated mouths with the big sort of floppy stork pouch under their chin, like the big stork jowl, which these creatures
So,
clearly do not
yeah.
have.
Man, the textures on these guys kind of sloppy.
Right.
All the devs thinking.
I am.
Maybe they aren't actually metallic. You're too far away for the texture to load.
Hashtag fuck the devs.
Always.
Oh,
Whose go is it?
I'm in the wrong.
Chords
tab.
go first.
Gorge go.
So yeah, I'm gonna attack them. Just 1 second while I try to get.
I'll tell you what.
Tell you what.
Tell you what.
That's for chat and for the YouTubes later. So yeah, we are attacking this thing.
There are 3 of them in the woods, all roughly equidistant to one another, and about the same distance from your camp.
Okay, I'm probably still have my bow not out, but I will fire at them with my bow.
All right, so it's a
That's my
base
bow.
difficulty 4. That's my bow.
All right, difficulty 4. Yeah, I'm gonna keep the 4. I can spend some speed, but I'm not gonna do that. I have already just spent speed today, and these skill pools and attribute pools are also our health. So another 17.
Oh,
I know,
rigged,
crazy.
rigged. I
Little
tell you.
success.
Cool. What's the damage on your bow? What kind of
My
weapon is it?
bow is a
It's my
4.
bow.
That's my bow. That's a 4.
All right, you can describe a decent attack. It's
Pretty
definitely
decent.
not dead yet.
Pretty
Pretty
decent
decent.
attack.
Some D-steeps.
Yeah, some D-steeps. I'm going to, as he rolled and ducked out of the way, he kind of, while he kind of furrows his eyebrows and kind of focuses on what's actually attacking him. And I guess these things kind of like poke their heads out of the bush. And then he is like slowly drawing his bow off of his shoulder and grabbing an arrow from his waist. And he knocks it and just tries to, still kind of confused at what it is. Still unsure if it's friendly or what actually it is. He just fires anyway, like quizzically.
Well, I mean, keep in mind your camp was just like
Oh, yeah,
lit
just
up
bombarded
with
by
half a dozen
grenades.
incendiary grenades.
Yeah,
So.
he's still kind of
Plus
like probably.
yeah.
He's still probably trying to picture what it actually is, like what anatomically this thing looks like, and where the best shot would sink. And he probably hits it maybe in the equivalent of its shoulder, or a little lower, maybe in its rib,
Sure.
or maybe even its stomach. That's probably a pretty decent shot. But yeah, it gets sunk into its digestive organ. And
Cool.
still trying to
I'll say
figure
that
out what it
everybody can definitely hear a far squishier sound as the arrow punctures this creature than you're expecting. It's definitely not the kind of like punching through metal that you might have expected. It's definitely squishier than it looks. All right,
Thing
Ilithia.
is, are they squishy? I am going to hide Billy. Put him in one of the. Oh, put him in one of the.
I imagine him as being
wagons.
a tiny Mexican man, like voiced.
Billy?
You know, put me in the bag. Or Italian.
Have you seen that photo of like, I think it's from the States, it's like people trying to like smuggle across the border, and there's a guy who's like built himself into the chair in a minivan, and he just like is the chair, and he's got like the armrests like torn open and then like wrapped around his arms, and his
my
head is in the
gosh.
headrest.
Yeah, I saw that. That was
Somebody
pretty
in chat find that. Yeah. Dedication.
That's crazy.
All right, so you're hiding Billy.
Yeah, I'm gonna hide Billy. Just kind of not hide him. I'm just gonna put him in one of the wagons so he's not running around.
Sure.
Just like stay there, and then I'm gonna draw my sword, and flames are gonna erupt all over me and all down my sword, and I'm gonna run up and slash at one of these things.
Cool. So base difficulty of
Sounds
4
fun.
because you're using a melee attack. It'll be your might pool if you want to
Sounds pretty
spend some
hot.
points to reduce. And what did we say last week? Your sword, when you're
Medium.
on fire, your sword will do 1 additional fire damage,
Yeah.
and then if you like grab them, it'll be 2. Okay.
Yeah. And on top of that, I'm gonna spend 1 speed point to use Pierce,
Okay.
which adds another additional damage, I believe.
Yep. Do you have an edge in speed, or are you actually going to spend the point?
I'm actually going to spend the point.
So edgy.
Okay. So edgy.
So base difficulty 4. Oh, I failed.
All right. So as you sort of rush
Can
up
I-
on fire. Yeah, go ahead.
Use my XP to re-roll that.
Yeah, if you want to.
Awesome.
You had 2 XP.
And I still failed.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, so as you rush up, sort of set yourself on fire and then sort of sidelong try to slash at this humanoid creature, it's just going to do a fairly deft and quite mechanical sort of deflection with the butt of its boom
Would it
thunder
still
stick.
get the 1 fire damage though? Because I'm still in the vicinity of it.
No, that's just.
I'll say if you had rolled higher than a 4, like if you had like gotten like only 1 away from missing, then yeah, that might have applied. But in this case,
It's just a warm breeze.
It's
passes by his
worth
face.
trying. It just kind of warms him up a bit.
The space 3 key.
Warms his hands by the fire.
yeah. Beth, you're also going to see as Alithia is up close, the first one to sort of get in melee with these creatures. You're going to see that it does look mostly mechanical. It looks like some kind of automata that's been constructed. Although again, its sort of surface plating is not all complete. And there's a lot of sort of synthetic fibers and materials that are used as its covering, as well as sort of metallics. And you can see that its eyes, one of them is just kind of like a robotic eye, so it's just like a lit sort of bulb. But the other eye looks to be kind of like a human, or at least an organic eye.
As I'm trained in perception, would I be able to see like where the most open area of their almost armor is, the best place to hit them to do the most damage?
You would be able to roll if you want for that, but in other situations it might be more worthwhile because these guys seem to be like 50-50. So like there are tons of squishy spots that you can see that you can tell would be better than the metallic ones. So there is no one especially good spot.
Okay.
Unless you're trained in working with machines, you might be able to know a little better. But
Which I'm not. Oh, don't worry about it then.
cool.
Yeah,
So as
half
you're the
squishy, half not squishy.
Yep, so you're the first one. You tried to slash the half squishy, half not squishy 8-foot robot automata. This thing's going to sort of turn right around and just try and like butt you with the butt of its rifle. So speed, defense, task, base of 4.
Because these seem to be going so well. 1 success.
Okay, so you can describe a dodge however you like.
Basically, as it comes down, he's almost trying to hit me over the back of the head, and I just kind of look up at it and just kind of bend my knees a little bit, and it just goes straight over my head because he's obviously like 8 foot tall, and I'm like really short, and he just swings it down, and I'm just like, nope, you're too tall. You just duck and then step backwards out of reach, and I'm just like, no, and it's like my flames get a little bit brighter, and I'm just like, bad boy. No.
Okay, and the other 2 strange automata creatures, one of them is going to fire at Mythmatic, the one obviously that has an arrow sticking out of its shoulder. It's going to point its thunder stick at you and fire quite a slug in your direction. So a speed defense task.
So it's a speed? So
Speed defense task, base of 4.
cool.
And just preemptively, Seto, the next attack is coming at you from the third of these automata.
All right, difficulty 4.
Difficulty 4 is the
I'm gonna
base, so for you,
spend some
it's
speed. Boop, boop, boop.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm gonna take some speed.
I'm gonna make it a 3 and still fail.
Okay, so Jeckley takes 4 might damage, and you can choose where that slug goes in your body.
My lord.
Probably in my thigh.
Yeah.
Square in the thigh
Oh.
gives me a dead leg.
This is a point. When we take damage, do you reduce our armor from that damage?
Yeah, armor is like damage reduction, so it's like DR. So
yeah.
every
I haven't been doing that.
Oh, what's my armor?
For each hit, most people don't wear armor because there's a whole pretty intense encumbrance rule.
I have
But
one
I know
armor. Fuck yeah.
Will took like an encumbrance ability, so he could wear more armor.
I would probably not have been so dead in the previous ones if I'd have done that. Anyway,
So
That's true.
it's cool.
they saw the weak spots below the neck and beneath the
Yeah,
arms. So.
yeah, exactly. 4. That's a success on an 18.
Cool. So you can dodge that slug.
Yeah, I go on Matrix on it. Actually, it's pretty easy because it's just a slug, you know. It's not very quick.
Yeah, you pour some salt on it. PJ salt.
Slunking along. And Seto, you get to respond in kind.
Some PJ salt. This thing's up in my grill.
No, it fired at you. It's within range. You're still sort of knelt over Naomi.
Okay, I see she's. You know what I just realised I have? I realised I have this beauty mask cipher, which makes you look 4 years younger, and I should have given that to Naomi because she's a girl.
No, you really shouldn't have, because that could have been really misinterpreted.
But the thing is, Seto would not have understood
That would have been
why that was
true.
and he probably wouldn't even understood why she'd want that anyway. But anyway, I'm gonna. Can I use my fleet of foot? I want to run and then do an attack. So this is a speed DC 2. See if I can do this.
Yeah. So on succeeding a speed of
17,
which he did, it allows Will's character to like move. Basically, in the sort of D&D equivalent for those of you familiar with 5e, he's able to dash and make an attack within the same round. So he gets to move a little bit extra and still take an action.
Yeah. So I can now thrust.
Get him with that thrust.
Yeah, right in the donger first. 4. I don't think I have anything that's going to make this easier for me.
You can spend might points to reduce it.
Yeah. I'll do that. I'll spend 3. Go down to a difficulty 3, which is a success on a 16.
And your weapon does 7 damage?
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
4, and then +2 for weapon master, and then 1 for thrust.
Thrusting.
Cool, so you can describe a near-killing blow, but this thing is still standing. Keep in mind it doesn't really doesn't seem to feel pain the same way that you might.
Yeah, I guess I kind of just thrust into it, kind of just into the belly, and I look up into his eyes to kind of expecting some pain or reaction, and then I kind of I bring it out again. A little kind of nod of respect. So, does not fear pain. This creature.
All right, and now, Maximus, you get to enter in to set the scene for you, Maximus. There's Ilithia and Seto are both engaged in melee with 2 of these creatures. There's one that is not engaged but has an arrow in it and has just fired and landed a shot on Jekli. And there is, in fact, just so you're all tracking, there are 2 more of these creatures, but they're further out to the sides. One of them is being engaged by sort of 2 of the men that was in your caravan, and the other one seems to have just fired at the strange man with the mask who was washing the cloth. So, Maximus, you're up.
I imagine that, if those 2, that the 3 in the middle are the ones that we're sort of engaging, and then there's 1 on each side that we haven't, because there's 5 in total, right?
Yep, the 2 that are on either side are being engaged by others, and they're not firing at your group specifically.
Cool. I imagine I come in from in my head, from the flank, just riding in, looking a little bit more sort of battered than I did previously. I come rocking in on this massive crystal, and it's actually appears to have some streaks of blood on it now. It's pretty. It looks a little different than last time. It's a bit more chipped and battered, and he comes riding in from we'll say the west, I guess. Towards
pick a direction.
Yeah, I come riding in from the west and see the what's it called? The one that's firing on the man with the mask, him. Yep. I just come. I'm basically going to try and charge him, but I will use my temporal gauntlet as the attack to see if I can make things more interesting. So
again, your temporal gauntlet, because you chose for it to be a heavy weapon and you're a nano, all difficulties are increased by 1. So to hit these guys with your gauntlet, you start at a DC 5, which requires a 15 out of 20 with no real positive mods.
Thank you, Dreven, for following. Welcome to the adventure, my friend. You're a gentleman and a scholar, sir.
Brings us 20 more follows until our next viewer vote.
Hey.
Well, tell your friend.
We still haven't had the Iron Wind.
Or
Very
the
disappointing.
Sky Kraken.
Yeah, the Sky Kraken's next on the docket.
Or the Dank Kraken,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm perfectly looking forward to.
The Tepid Wind.
It's just blonde. It's just like smoking so many joints from all of its tentacles.
Every tentacle has
so-
a joint.
I've rolled a 6, which is obviously not a success. Could
No
I use my XP to re-roll?
Absolutely.
And when I re-roll, do I have to re-roll the same thing, or could I use some dice?
You can use some dice if you want. Basically, re-rolling is allowing you, I mean, with your character especially, to sort of do the whole, like, sands of time thing where you're like, wait a minute, just kidding, I'm not going to jump off that cliff.
Yeah. What would I be spending to use my weapon? Would it be
As a
intellect?
ranged attack, normally it would be speed, but we can say if you want that this strange, weird gauntlet thing requires as much like timing and calculation, so
Yeah.
it can be an intellect-based attack for you.
I like how you say timing and calculations and stuff, but really Maximus just hits it until it does what he wants it. It seems to have worked so far. So I'm going to spend some dice to reduce that down to a 4. Actually, I'm going to spend some dice to reduce that down because intellect is. I've got an edge in intellect, so I'll only be spending 2 dice. Is that right?
Yeah, so to reduce it down 1 level would cost 3 because your edge is 1, costs 2. If you want to spend 2 levels of effort, because you guys all have an effort score of 2, it would cost 5 points because the edge reduction only applies once per roll, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so I'm going to do that. Take it down to a 3, and
Your effort.
yeah, put that up there. And I've spent my XP. Cool.
Okay, so it'll be a base 3.
There we go.
Ooh, just landed
like the
3.
yeah.
Just a tip.
Ooh, ah.
Oh, just a tip.
Yeah.
Just
Okay,
the
you can
tip.
describe your attack.
Gives me the willies.
So yeah, he basically like charges this thing like on his bike, and as he goes to hit it, I imagine it like braces to take the hit or like tries to move, and as he tries to move, Maximus vanishes and reappears a split second later, directly behind him, coming in exactly the opposite direction. But Maximus's face is just so confused. He's like, no idea. He's just like, wait, I'm going the wrong way, and he just plows into this guy.
So what you're saying is this was not a calculated hit.
It just
So,
goes wrong.
okay, and
And,
your gauntlet is a heavy weapon, so
Yep.
6 damage.
Yep.
So yeah, you sort of topple this thing onto the ground. You're now obviously sort of next to it for its response to you later, but it's obviously you felt some crunching as you charged and rammed into this thing. Immediately in kind, before we go back to Jeckley and Alithia, the man with the scarf over his face and the less intense goggles who was washing the cloth, before you teleported in, Maximus, he was planning on, or he was charging towards this creature himself, and he's holding a mechanical sort of cylinder, looks kind of like the hilt of something, and he sort of presses a button and rushes forward and crackles a line of lightning, like a rope of lightning. This thing turns into sort of an electrified whip, and he just sort of wraps around this thing on the ground, sort of wrapping around it. And you obviously gave him enough of an upper hand advantage in distracting this creature that he lands like a good sort of wrap or tie around sort of the upper part of its one shoulder, and the electricity just sort of shocks this thing, and it's sort of sizzling there, no longer moving. So between the two of you, you killed this within this round. And back to Jeckley and Elijah.
These are by Alicia. These are bipedal creatures?
Yep.
Yeah. There's a photo of them. There was a photo of them. That was
Yeah, I
out.
have it. I just didn't know if there was maybe a third leg. I just have shoes that I need to give away. Right.
Well, you actually have talk with machines, don't you? Or
Yes.
yeah. So technically, I mean, you could try and convince them to chill and maybe trade some
But
shoes.
they're not machines though.
They're
In part,
machines.
they're definitely in part machine.
They're cyborgs.
Oh, I thought that was armor this whole time.
There are cyborgs in the mainframe.
Okay.
In your base, killing
They've
your
adapted.
beats.
In your base.
Okay, then I'm gonna
Stealing-
stop the one
stealing
that's
your
attacking
grills.
me. I'm just gonna stop
Okay.
his machine parts from functioning.
I like it. Oh, that'd be awesome. Like, yeah.
So I just,
just
like,
his-
snap my
it's just
finger,
his-
his eye goes
just-
blind, and like,
Just as Donga flops.
As long
like a Doc Ock tentacle just droops out of the middle of his legs.
I like.
Feels bad.
I like
And,
the idea though that he like comes towards you and you just like make one of his legs give out, so he like goes for
Yeah.
the attack and then he just face plants and you're just like no,
Yep.
no man.
It's all right.
describe for chat the ability you're using, just so that they know that I'm not just letting anything
No,
fly
it
in
can
this
just
crazy
happen.
circus. So
Yeah,
you are using it.
I am
I
using
know I'm aware, so.
a thing. I have machine affinity. I have also a thing called a distant activation. It costs 1. What does that mean? It costs 1.
Costs 1 intellect point.
Intellect point. All right, so I use that,
because
but I have an
edge is
edge
one.
in it, so it's free. So I can just activate or deactivate any machine within range as an action. I probably have my bow drawn still. I got shot in the leg, and then I look up at him, and when he gets closer, if he does, in my mind he is, I just can see him. I start to focus and realize that he's part machine, and then I just kind of hold out.
Didn't we say you were going to sneeze every time or something? You're like,
Yeah, I was going
trying
to
to make
sneeze
it
or
like a
cough or
little,
something. Yeah, and I'll just go, and then I sneeze, and and as I sneeze, like this invisible gust of wind goes by and deactivates his an EMP wave.
Yep.
And deactivates his cybernetics, and then I turn and go to shoot something else. As he kind of like.
Yeah, well, so your ability will take the action, so you'll be
Yeah,
able
the
to fire
whole
the bow
action. Yeah,
this
so
round.
I'm not really gonna shoot the bow, but I have it still drawn.
Yep. Cool. But what I'll say is this creature sort of immediately crumples to the ground, and you can see that it seems to almost like compress. It like implodes a little bit at that, but it has a number of like parts of its body that weren't compressed or sort of crunched down at all, that are all sort of twitching spasmodically. So there's this kind of pile of limbs that's kind of twitching and kind of writhing on the ground in a really kind of grotesque sort of way.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
So how many more are there? Because I just need to know how many turns I have, so I can kill them all.
Ilithia. Ilithia is engaged with one, Seto is engaged with one, and there is one off to the left that is bearing down on Lyric, actually. Your employer. So we turn to Ilithia, who is facing off against one in melee. She tried to swipe at it with her sword. She missed, unfortunately, but then she was able to dodge the butt of its rifle or its thunder stick.
And I am going to try and stab it again. And once again, I am going to use Pierce as well, which takes 1 speed point. But I'm going to keep it as a level 4. I'm not going to spend anything to get the level down. So,
Cool.
1 success.
Ew.
So
Cool.
it's the
So your
medium.
sword is only 4, and then you added 2, 1 for Pierce and 1 for the flames, so
Ah, yeah.
6 damage.
Yeah.
Cool. So that I do like the bloody designation of being like less than half HP. So it makes it so you can describe a bloodying wound to this thing.
Basically, obviously I've just dodged 1 hit from it, and as it leans down, I kind of bring my sword up, slice into the arm, his squishy arm, the one that's not mechanic, and cut his arm off.
Right on. Gross. Cool. He is going to respond in kind and try and sort of swing his rifle and fire at you at point blank with his rifle. Now, here's an interesting thing. When you're firing at point blank with a ranged weapon, unlike Dungeons & Dragons, in this system,
Uh-oh. We're losing you. Hold on.
difficulty by 1, because obviously this is fighting with 1, but difficulty back up by 1. So, Beth, your speed defense roll stays at a 4, just like it would have been.
Okay. I didn't hear a word of that, Mitch, apart from it stays at a 4,
Yeah,
so I
yeah,
just rolled it.
exactly. You robot.
Oh, it
that
all
whole
jumbled?
thing. Yeah.
No
wonderful.
success.
I was
But it's
talking about
okay.
robots. All I said was that at point blank range, it reduces the difficulty by 1 for him, but because he only has one arm and he's firing a two-handed rifle, it brought it back up to the same.
All right, cool.
Okay, well, I failed, so.
GM.
Okay, so you take 4 might damage as this thing sort of literally just sort of swings its rifle sideways with one hand, literally like pushes it into your shoulder and fires as it touches onto your shoulder.
Now that's not very nice.
Now, Seto, the creature that you are squared off against, is going to try a similar maneuver. It's going to try and sort of swing its arm underneath your sword to kind of lock you in place and then sort of swing its rifle and fire sort of straight into your chest. So I'll say you're going to be making a speed defense task. You could keep the speed defense at a base of 4, but let go of your sword, or if you want to hang on to your sword, it's going to be a base difficulty of 5.
Oh yeah, and never drops the sword. So that'll be a 4.
So because of base 5 brings to 4, yeah.
Yeah, and then yeah, so down to a 4. Wait, is that with my speed defense training as well? Have I done that?
Yeah, so if it started at a 5, if you're hanging onto your sword, then your speed defense training brings you to 4.
Yeah, 4, yeah.
So you're looking at 4.
Yay, nat 20.
Ooh, nat 20. You can have a major effect, whatever that looks like for you. So
Cool.
you can disarm him, trip him, you can sneak in an attack if you like. It won't be sort of full damage kind of thing. But
Sure. Well, I've done a lot of damage to him already, so I guess, yeah, I kind of do like the pirouette, kind of spin around the bullet. It kind of goes past me, and I spin and bring the sword round in kind of Matrix style for an attack, which is DC 4. Isn't
it would start as a 4 because of your nat 20 and because of sort of going around and pivoting around, so you're flanking him. It'll only be a base 3.
Oh, okay. Brilliant. Let's do that then. Nope, nat 1. nat 20 followed by nat 1.
Okay, so in your attempt to sort of
The
spin
dice
around
gods
and
give
pirouette, and they take it away. In your attempt to sort of pirouette around to get a flank and slice across this thing's back, you didn't expect it to be able to dislocate its limbs in a way that humans can't. But as you sort of pull your sword away from where it had tried to sort of hook your sword, it sort of clicks its elbow backwards, bends around, and continues to grab your sword. So now you are disarmed.
Seto's face went.
Exactly. All right, Seto is disarmed. Mathematics creature is down. Beth's creature took an attack on her and managed to fire into her shoulder. The only other assailant left is the one that was bearing down on Lyric, your employer. You are going to hear Lyric sort of cry out, and then a series of 2 shots. And you no longer hear Lyric crying out as you see this creature sort of like hunched over, just starting to stand up and look around to see who else is about. So we go to Seto, his actual turn, as opposed to responding to the creature. So Seto, you're unarmed.
Yeah. Can I? How far away is my sword? Am I within pirouette range?
Yeah, I mean it's still right in
Yeah,
front of
just
you.
strong arm, yeah.
He's
Isn't
just
floating.
like he bent his arm backwards to wrap around it.
Let's see. Oh, did good at it. Would go for his sword.
Grab at it with no roll, be a might task to be strong enough to rip it out of his grasp.
What task, sorry?
A might.
I hate this. I don't know what's going on with Skype today, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to exit the call and rejoin or something. This is so annoying. Sorry, everybody. So we're just waiting for Skype to come back because we've got annoying turning cams on, guys. Sorry about that.
Hello.
I don't know.
Sorry about
Skype's
it, guys.
being poopy. Poopy Skypes. Hopefully, there we go. Mitch is back.
Good.
Will's
Bitches are
coming
back.
Mitch is
Oh,
back.
I really said bitches be back. I was like,
Bitches be
No,
back.
no, Mitch.
That too.
Okay, so Will, did you hear it's going to be a might task to rip the sword
Will's
out?
still not here.
Oh,
Ooh, awkward.
then he definitely didn't hear that. Just...
I think Will's
Stream
Skype
goes
dipped
without
out
him.
earlier as well.
Yeah, he's had
not
weird
bad.
internet days. Oh, he's back.
Hello,
Hey,
Will.
Will,
Hey,
all right?
yeah, I don't know why mine's messed me around. So.
is everything all right?
Alright, what's going on with my... Oh, my cam's a bit weird.
Will, can you hear us still? Yeah, you're good.
Wii U?
No. Will.
I'll recall
No.
him. I'll recall him and hope for the best.
Indeed.
You have Discord and Mumble. I have Mumble. Yes, everybody in chat. I'm talking about. I got a Mumble server this past week, so we can all play games together and chat while we're playing games as a community. So yeah, join up. I'll post the link once again here in a second, and you guys can download it.
We have
and
Will
have it.
back.
And there's a Will.
Will,
There's a
you're
Will,
back.
there's a game. See that?
All right, so Will, did you hear that it's going to be a might's task to rip your sword back from this guy?
I do. Is it difficulty 4? Is it?
Yep.
Cool. It's an 18. It's a success.
AO, and as your sort of minor effect on an 18, you can make your attack. We'll say it doesn't take your full round to pull that sword out.
You said 18?
I haven't seen the 18 come through on roll 20, but
Yeah,
I
fine.
believe you. I trust you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Roll
Oh,
20.
yeah, I need to redo the roll 20 because it's
Oh, it's being crap. You're doing GM rolls again, Will.
Oh,
Okay,
we
well-
can never we can never trust Will's GM rolls.
I'll take it on
Most
faith.
loaded
It was,
dice.
it was an 18, but you'll have to roll the attack itself. And after
I know he's muted again. He's frozen. Oh, there's back.
after Will is done, Maximus, you'll be up just so you can be tracking and
Yeah, cool.
know what you want to be doing.
My Skype is absolutely messing me around today. I wasn't GM rolling. I was like when my internet went down, the roll 20 thing was like, oh, you've lost
It
connection.
was
So
still, yeah.
I rolled an
Sorry.
18.
I trust you. So
you
18,
can
you
re-roll
can-
if you like.
nope, the 18, you get your sword back, and with a minor effect, it doesn't take your full action, so you can roll an attack if you like, so DC 4 to actually make an attack.
Perfect. I'll do that. I will do that. For an 11. Just did that one come through?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, 11 came through, so
Go.
no dice. So you can describe somehow taking your sword back, but then missing an attack.
Fair enough.
Okay. Maximus.
Maximus.
The creature that you and the strange scarfed man attacked is dead. It is no more. The one that Mythmatic had firing at him, the one that Jeckley had firing, seems to have dropped into a heap. There's one that just murdered Lyric and is standing over him. And then there's still, once again, Seto and Ilithia are engaged toe-to-toe in melee.
I imagine like the kill between me and this guy was essentially like as he like swung this whip at the midsection of this thing, I hit it like from behind and we like just
Yep.
clove it in two. It was beautiful. And then me and him sort of have a look like we're both equally surprised to see each other, me and this masked man, as they've just
Yep.
materialized again. And I'm just like, thanks, I think you're on our side. Not really sure at the moment. Having one of those days and oh shit, and then I see like Lyric go down and I'm just like, I should probably how do you, and I'm just like come on, work, and I hit this bike and we just start rocketing towards that one, and I'm like that's what I wanted to do, I think, I hope. And he's going to make a attack against this guy.
Yep, so
And,
base 4 as always. And you're just trying to ram him with this thing?
yeah,
Or
yeah.
use the gauntlet?
No, I'm gonna just try and run him over.
Okay.
What? What was that? I'm confused.
What was what?
And if it can
We
pop-
just had another Skype call come through.
Okay.
Okay.
Nope, that's a 4. I miss.
Okay, so you sort of thunder towards this thing, and it does a deft little roll to the side, out of the way. Okay, and back to Elijah. I guess you guys don't know his name yet. Shit. The strange man with the
That
mask
guy.
and the goggles, whose name is definitely not Elijah. The man with the strange electric whip and the scarf over his face is going to rush to your side, Seto, and wrap this creature with his lightning whip that you've already sort of stabbed clean through the torso and like ripped quite a gash open as you were pulling your sword out. So it was already on its last legs. And coming from behind, this masked man is going to lightning whip this creature into its final death throes in front of you. Whip it so good. And we're back to Jeckley.
Okay, how many are standing?
There are 2 left. There's one off to the side that just murdered Lyric that is now sort of bearing down on Maximus, who tried to thunder into it, and then there's the one that Beth is still fighting against.
Are they both in melee?
Pretty much. Like the one against Beth, like they've been exchanging melee blows, and then Josh just tried to like physically ram it, so...
I'm going to sneeze and I guess turn off the one that Beth is fighting.
Okay.
And holds up his hand and sneezes and watches the EMP gust blow through and knock his cybernetics out of whack.
All right. Beth, how
As
do
he
you
kinda,
respond?
Like, puts his bow because he doesn't really need it.
As this thing hits the floor, I just kind of turn to Jeckley, be like, "What the fuck?" And then I'm just like, I don't actually.
You don't actually know it was me.
I just look around and what the hell just happened? It just fell to the floor, and then I'm just like, do you know what? I'm not gonna risk it, and I just take my sword and like stab it straight through the thing's throat.
Okay.
It's biological parts are probably still.
Yeah, it was still doing the weird like twitching business. So after you stab it through the throat, it stops doing the twitching business. So as far as you're concerned, like
are you gonna make me roll to stab it through the throat?
Absolutely not.
Oh, yay.
That would be ludicrous.
You miss, you idiot.
You big stupid
How do
idiot.
you miss when it's lying on the floor
Exactly.
right in front
That's
of
why
you?
you need to roll.
This is actually like a huge like GM
Yeah.
fucking argument that people have all the time about coup de grace, and there are different camps, and it's really stupid, and it shouldn't be an argument. But anyways, we'll talk about that another time.
Yeah. That's
you
definitely
totally
material
killed-
for DM Tavern.
You kill the shit out of this thing because it was lying on the ground. Awesome.
Yay!
Now we go to Seto and to Maximus. There's only one of these things still alive, and actually, since I hate mop-ups and this thing is fairly mechanical, and it's thinking, as it sees that it is now the last one, it is going to turn tail and start to bolt, because these creatures get to go between Ilithia and Seto. So Seto and Maximus can choose to pursue if they like. If they do want to do a turn-by-turn sort of chase thing, but this thing is going to turn and start running. And again, at 8 feet tall, with a tall sort of gangly gait, it's got a good stride.
It's like the Caminoans running.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Maximus is going to turn to Seto like in this split second, and sort of say, "Are we chasing it?"
Quinn needs closure. He
Yeah,
wants
Quinn
us to
needs you
chase
to
it.
chase it down.
Cool. I hear this voice, and I'm like,
Who?
Quinn?
I feel like we should. I'm like, I feel like we should chase it. Quinn wants us to chase it. I give no explanation as to who it is.
I reply to you and say, we cannot kill a man when his back is turned.
Ooh.
That's smart set.
Goblin.
I say no. you can't kill a man. And while we're on the subject, hold on. And like this thing's like starting to move away, and I'm like, I really need to go after this thing. But it was saying, and he pats himself down, and he pulls out this small like glass rose that like has been made, and he says, you were looking for something for Naomi, unless that hasn't happened yet. But if you are, it's a pretty rose. I'm sure she'll love it. And then he like hands that to Seto, and he's just like, "Cool."
It's a glass balloon animal.
Yeah, it's a balloon animal. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
It's so pretty. Okay.
It's a
like,
malleable glass tube that's been folded like a balloon animal to be a flower. So it's got like 4 petals or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not like perfect, but I mean, considering it's made out of glass, until you actually touch it, it looks pretty impressive. And then you realise it's probably fucking easy. But I hand that to you. There you go. Now, small matter of, and I'm just going to floor it after this creature.
Okay. So say when you're making attack rolls trying to ram with your strange crystal mount that is really just like, even though you got this thing to work with your size rather than a goblin size, like your feet are still just about dragging on the ground. Like you're still like way too big for this thing. I'll say it is a speed task for maneuvering for the sake of spending points to reduce DCs when you're attacking with this, but it will still count as a heavy weapon. If you somehow down the road want to take skills training in like driving or piloting, for instance, that would count as like ramming attack proficiency. So,
Mitch, I love the fact that you think Maximus is going to have this thing for long. He's going to blow it up somehow. In fact, this may be the attack. If this pulls off, I might just use it as a missile and just...
Sure, yeah, that's fine.
Hold on, so...
Speed points to reduce the DC will be 3, I'll say, because this thing has its back turned.
Cool. What do you mean it would be 3? Wouldn't it be 3 anyway?
Well, the base would be 4 because they're level 4 creatures, but it's going to start at a 3 instead of starting at a 4. And then you can spend speed points to reduce it again.
So base for this is a 3, and then if you want to spend points, it goes down again because its back's turned. So
am I rolling base?
Unless
my difficulty here is a 3.
Yep.
Yes.
Cool. Okay. In which case...
And for those of you who are trying to figure out how hard of an encounter everything is, just take the base number and multiply it by 3, and that's what you need to... That's the score that you need to roll.
And those of you that are super keen and have been tracking, these things probably have the number of HP is probably also times 3 from their base, in case you've been really attention.
I know that.
Cool.
I mean, the math isn't there, but...
In which case, I'm going to drop my speed down. I'm going to spend 3 to make it down to 2.
Okay. Don't fuck up.
And an 18.
Hey,
so
you can describe how you kill this thing.
So what actually happens, because you just said that about it, and I feel like this would just be like, what happens is Maximus floors it at this thing, but it's already quite far away because he was talking to Seto, and it's all going, and he's coming up at it, but then like he basically, his feet get snagged on a root, and he just gets pulled off this thing, and it goes rocketing towards him, and he's just like, and in a split second, he's like, I need to stop this. Like, I need to stop this thing from careening off. So his gauntlet sort of reacts to this and creates a brick wall in front of the, like a brick wall just materializes out of the ether in front of this creature, and this thing misses it by a millimeter, but it hits the brick wall and explodes, and he just disappears in a fireball. And I'm like, oh,
sounds
damn.
about right.
I'm just like, oh damn it. So basically, crystal explosion with an engine attached and a brick wall that is just like, there are bricks flying everywhere, and I'm just like,
blue flame explosion.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, just I had 3 more payments on that. God damn it! And he now has to walk back, and it's probably like he's gone a couple of 100 meters, so he's just like starts shuffling back, looking really like
it's like kicking rocks,
kicking rocks over. It's just like
kicking the roots that pulled him off.
Yeah.
Falling over again.
In a rage, pulling the root that ripped him off.
Yeah, I come back with like a root, like 20 minutes later I come back with this root, and I'm like panting, and I'm just like, fucking show that, and just throw it.
Cool. So we
Seto is shaking his head.
I just shake this root in his face, and I'm just like, this is the root of all of my fucking problems. And I just throw it away, and I'm just like,
oh my god.
Oh.
Cool. So
I
we are
go
out of
check on
initiative.
Naomi. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, so she was fine after you had sort of covered her or protected her from that initial grenade barrage. She had sort of crawled herself underneath one of the wagons, so she was sort of huddled under one of the wagons for cover, and she's still fine. And she sort of quickly tells you to go, check on the others. She hasn't been injured.
Yeah, I do. I go check on other people that might be injured.
Yeah, so one of the men who was traveling with you, not the man with the mask, one of the men who was traveling is unfortunately sort of slunched on the ground, and there's a woman sort of attending to him, and he's got 2 or 3 sort of large holes where he's been shot, so he's definitely in his last throes as he's sort of coughing instructions to her. And if you were to head in the other direction, you would find Lyric's...
Is this man... Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is this man clearly dying?
Yeah, I mean, you've put smaller holes in and fewer holes in people in those locations, and you know that they were mortal wounds. So this guy's got like 3 big. It's like
I want to. I kind of go up to him and I say, "This is the end, my friend. Do you wish to die honorably?"
He's not. He's kind of in shock, so he's kind of in that like choking blood phase where his eyes are just about to roll back. So he doesn't respond yes or no. He's just kind of like.
I hand him a dagger.
So he's nodding, is what you're saying.
I hand him like a dagger from my side and leave him with it.
Okay.
You know what to do.
He definitely doesn't kill himself, but like you wouldn't know that turning your back. He just kind of holds it. And...
Yeah, I like in Seto's head. It's like that's what he's done. Yep, he's done the honourable thing.
No, the guy definitely bleeds out slowly.
Yeah. He's not going to kill the guy. He just kind of gives him the option to. At
least not without a nod.
Give himself a warrior's death, you know.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Ilithia, Jeckley, Maximus.
So Maximus comes back and finds Olivia and says, sort of gives her a curious look. Like he basically just walks right up to her face and just raises an eyebrow on her face and says, "No, good, okay," and then he just walks off.
I think by this point, because obviously she's been travelling with Max a little bit longer than
a couple of
the
weeks
rest
longer.
of them, a couple of weeks longer. So I think she's kind of a little bit used to the strangeness.
Yeah. He's just like anything you need to say. No, you don't. No,
Probably not.
good.
No.
Don't
and
find out. That's a bad idea. I think
You could tell me.
I could. I did.
Could. No, you will.
No,
You're
I did.
about to.
Oh, am I?
Yes,
Fuck. Said I wouldn't do that. That's
but you're going
inconvenient.
to.
I am.
Yes.
Am I?
Yes.
Well, that'll be interesting. I look forward to it. And he just walks away. He's just like, it gets to the point. I like the fact she's got to the point where she knows how to fuck with Maximus. She's just like, you're gonna tell me. I am? Shit. I said I wouldn't do that. Damn.
At this
See,
point,
the thing is, she's got no idea why he does it, but she knows that it's gonna work.
she knows what he's doing, just not
Yeah.
why. Yeah. While you two are sort of interacting, and while Seto is honoring the man who's choking on his last breaths,
Honoring.
Jeckley, you're going to have the man who is sort of scarfed at the face with the goggles come up to you, and he's going to sort of pull up his goggles, and you notice that he's got sort of dark, sort of brown eyes that seem sort of quite piercing, and then he pulls down his scarf, and he seems to be in his sort of mid to late 20s.
Elijah, is that you?
And he's going to say, "How did you do that with those machines? How did you turn?" It was you that pointed at them. And you can see he's like really sort of intensely looking at you. This guy doesn't miss too much.
I mean, I was gonna say we should attack them, but then I sneezed. Have you seen the pollen here? Have you take a look at these things? And he pulls out like an exotic flower, probably like hanging from a vine, and he's like, "These things are awful."
He's gonna give you kind of a squinting, scrutinizing look, and say, "Well, I hope for all our sake that there is more to it than the pollen in this area. And then he's going to sort of turn to the others, and I guess at this point, yeah, I guess Maximus, you're back because you were sort of chortling back and forth with Alithia. So you're all sort of in the vicinity. So this man is going to sort of pipe up, sort of gesturing towards Laric's body, and say, "You were all traveling with this man?"
Alicia turns around and she's like, "Guess we're not getting the other half of our payment then."
He's going to. This man's going to look left and look right. And then, as if on cue, as if he was expecting it, you guys are going to start to hear in the distance more of these same sounds of these firearms, the sort of the rumbling of the grenades bursting, but sort of farther down the shore of the lake, far down. And you can see a little bit of sort of lights flashing, probably 3 or 4 kilometers away. And he's going to sort of turn and gesture to the sounds of this larger, much larger firefight than the one that you were dealing with down the shore. And he's going to say, I don't know what that man was paying, but the 4 of you, if you were to help me through at least until the morning, I don't think we'll have seen the last of these creatures by the time the sun comes up.
I was not being paid. But yes.
He was, he just didn't accept the money.
I was being paid for him, yeah. I mean, he would have been paid, but...
So once again, you have to pay Cord twice. In all situations, Cord needs to be paid twice.
He's a clever Jew.
Yeah, this man is pretty bluntly and firmly going to say that money is no object. Just don't expect it to be settled while we're still out here in the wilds.
I do not want your money.
I do.
He wants your money.
He's right.
He says. So this man just says, "Well then, let's be off before there aren't any more villagers left to speak of on the."
Seto suddenly kind of like stiffens and then kind of remembering something, and he bows and says, "My name is Seto Yashuan."
And bows.
The man will actually bow in response to you, quite politely, and introduce himself as Elijah.
Whoa! How did I know that?
But he's going to introduce himself as Elijah Rathion. And Cord, you can know right away that this is the sort of exiled bastard son of the current queen in the imperial province. And anyone else can choose what affiliation their character would have with the province of Navarine specifically. They might know the name as well. But Cord, for sure, having spent time in the city, knows that this young man here is of sort of royal stock, but was kind of exiled from political life given that he was a bastard.
What difficulty?
If you wanted to know, it would be an intellect only base 4.
I'm going to say Seto doesn't know because you...
17.
Elijah, what was his last name?
Rathion. Yep, so 17. You definitely know as well, Maximus.
Yeah, cool. I nod to him and I say, my commiserations. Your grave was... Wait, hold on. No, never mind. It's like, oh, I think I might have said the wrong thing here. He just sort of awkwardly shakes his hand.
Elijah, you seem to be pretty far away from the Queen. How goes your trip? He's kind of being a dick.
He's going to sort of raise a slight smirk as he casts a glance at Maximus's character and say, well, I think the trip is really more determined in what happens along the road. Would you not agree, friend?
He nods. He nods as if yeah, and he's wait, what? It's like, that actually sounded like something I should be paying attention to.
Yeah,
hold on. And then he I imagine he flickers momentarily, and then he's just like, yes. Oh crap, I missed it. Never mind. like for a second, like it's almost like in Fight Club where there's like single slices of Tyler Durden in certain frames.
Yep.
It's almost like that, but for a slice of a frame, Maximus isn't there as he like tries to loop back so we can seem interested, but he just fails. He's just like, yes, no, oh, we've moved on. Okay.
At
this point,
yeah, go ahead.
sorry, Alicia's kind of gone back to the wagon that she put Billy in, and she's turned off all her flames and stuff, and she gets Billy out, and he sits on her shoulder, and he kind of snuffles up in her hair, and then she walks back over, and she's just like, "My name's Alicia. This is Billy."
Elijah will again sort of give half a bow with a nod and say well met to all of you. And then he'll sort of call it a teenage boy who was part of the caravan and say, Jacob, tend to the women and make sure that someone stays awake at all times and you know how to get a hold
Is this
of
man your slave?
No, Jacob's been traveling with me since I left the capital city. I'm paying him, if that's what you're asking.
Mm. He just continues to keep eye contact.
Okay. So Elijah sort of orders Jacob to make sure to sort of stand watch while they're gone and to get in contact with him, whatever that means, in the event of something happening. And then Elijah looks to you and says, quick, let's be off to the village. We don't want to wait too much longer. And he'll sort of turn and pull up his little scarf over his face.
Nice. I think that's dishonourable because a man should see another man's face, but I don't comment. And and I follow him.
Ooh, Teenage Mutant Boy. DNV and Quinn, did you just follow today, correct? You just followed today, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, for following DNV and Quinn, I will in fact make Jacob a mutant, but we'll have to wait and see how and in what manner or form of mutant Jacob is. But Jacob...
Can he be a Ninja Turtle? Please.
He's got like a hardened shell sort of like back to him.
Weird backpack, kid.
Please, can he be a Ninja Turtle?
As far as you guys are concerned, Jacob is just a teenage boy. He's wearing clothing, and that's all you know. But as far as...
just to say though, we do have donations down below. So if you want to change it to make that, you can. To make it happen, you can give a small donation. You know, you don't have to really shell out too much.
Oh, you said that just to make the
That
pun.
was painful.
Thanks for plugging, but it was just for a pun.
Yeah, it was more for the pun than the plug.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It was for my own twisted amusement.
All right, so Elijah sort of strides off towards the sound of his firefight that sort of erupted behind him. Hoping or expecting that you guys would be following in kind, although some or all of you can stay back, or you can all charge along with him. It looks like it's going to be like the better part of, 20, 30 minutes to get there. So it's not like he's diving into a firefight immediately. Like I said, it was quite a ways up the shore along this lake.
After the slight explosions and more combat.
Yeah, so when he sort of paused, sort of expecting to hear the fight burst, there was an initial bombardment that was much louder, and now it's just sort of reduced down to sort of like a steady sort of peppering every now and then. So it's still ongoing, it's just not quite as intense as when it initiated.
All right, cool, yeah. But I got more of these things to kill. Let's go.
Yes. We
What
must
was,
protect the women and the children.
What was
And the weak men.
sorry.
No.
What was Elijah exiled for? Do I know?
You can roll on that one. So DC, we'll say, starts at a 6. So he was a bastard, so he was never like favored in the court, but he was exiled for something specific.
Intellect. I'm not gonna do it. I'm feeling lucky. Yeah. Okay.
No.
That lucky 13.
Yep. Lucky.
And
13.
actually, who had was that 17? That was yours, Josh. That's
It
17.
was indeed.
That was for your whether or not you know about.
Knowledge, yeah.
Okay, so then you would know why he was exiled too.
Cool.
So you know that he was exiled because he was investigating and trying to sort of stir up a corruption scandal whereby he was accusing many members of the sort of royal house of being part of the Convergence, which is kind of that I guess the evil side of the.
I guess it'd be more frowned upon than actually illegal. But I guess it would still be. Or is it actually illegal for the royal family to be?
Well, it's not. I mean, anyone who's part of the convergence is seen to be like nearly maniacal, like sort of like chaotic evil-esque. Like you're a high risk of just causing huge amounts of damage wherever you go because A, you're investigating Numenera, and B, you're not doing it from like an academic safe distance or for the benevolence of others. So they're always seen as much more dangerous. So nobody would be allowed to sort of reside safely in society, let alone the fact that like he was accusing the majority of the ruling house of all having connections and ties with the convergence. So big drama.
You
big
probably forced him to do it. I mean, he's in his grave.
My face when I was there at the time, and I was just like, they're probably something to do with the convergence, and I just vanished. And he was like, I should investigate this shit, and I'm like, my bad.
Seto realizes you guys probably actually know this guy. He's picking up on you guys probably like, I know this guy, and he turns and says, I know this man.
We all exchange like a secret complex handshake, like, hey buddy, and you're like, I feel like you may have some sort of connection.
Yeah, I turn to Jeckley and Maximus and say, do you know this man who we travel with?
Yeah, he's a bastard son of the queen. He's also exile.
What is
also
this?
just a straight up bastard.
What
He's
is
a
this bastard you speak of? What is this term?
Maximus is like, yeah, sorry about that, by the way.
I don't quite remember.
I'll say that Seto, like, you would understand the concept of like an illegitimate child. If you're like super into honor, you'd understand like child out of wedlock kind of thing.
Yeah, it's just really not the word bastard necessarily. Yeah.
Conceptually,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
he says, he kind of I frown. This man has no honor in his blood.
Is what? Sorry?
I turn around to defend him. I'm just like, oh, he has honor in his blood. He just wasn't. It was complicated, all right?
No. Seto's all about the awkward silences after he says something. He does not make room for like social politeness.
So one
Just
thing
like,
I was thinking,
no.
and Will, this can be your call, because I forgot to do it at the end of last session. We won't do it at the end of every session, but because it's the first time we're doing it in the campaign, it's new for you guys as players and also potentially new to chat. We can stop here and take the last half an hour to go through the progression, because you guys did earn like a bulk drop of EXP at the end of last session, in addition to the sort of the one-offs that you're spending in session. So you can sort of go through some of the motions of upgrading your characters a bit, sort of gaining levels or whatever. Or Will, if you can just like keep playing, and then we can all go through that in Skype another day or something.
Whatever guys do you guys prefer? Would you rather carry on playing or do something?
I think that'd be cool.
I think it'd be cool to go and progress, and then we could probably do it this one time, and then we could do it.
Yeah.
Depending how easy it is.
Then chat's familiar with it. Yeah, just for the initial, so chat can get a sense of how it works, and as well you guys too. And it makes for a good point, because we do only have half an hour, rather than diving into this village, which will be a bit of an involved process. Yeah. We can start fresh next week diving into the village.
Sure.
Cool. So at the end of last session, how it's going to work for XP is the individual XP that I'm going to give out in session for intrusions and stuff that you guys can then turn around and spend to refuse intrusions or spend to reroll and stuff. Think of those as like you gain them separately. So the ones that I give you one at a time in game, those are only for short-term spending. So like if you got one this session and you didn't spend it, that transfers over into next week, which you can then use only for the purpose of in-game type stuff. And then at the end of each session, I'll just say, here's like the blop that you got for the session that you can use. Yeah, natural stopping point. When,
wait.
Robot, are we good? Robotic voice.
Saving Throw Show donated £3.50.
Hey!
I forgot I'd lost the... I lost the message. Oh no. The message is to create the myth sandwich of legends.
The great myth
It's gotta be
sandwich.
done.
An ancient artifact of enormous power. So the myth sandwich. Thank you so much, Saving Throw Show.
Savings or so, I already know where that's going to be. And while these clowns are going through their progression, if you stay in chat just for the next 10 minutes, I'll actually type you out a whisper of where and when you'll see it. Because you probably won't see it next session, but I've already got a great way to use that sandwich.
And thank you, Deathmonger98, for following. Welcome to the adventure.
So for those in chat who are just sort of joining, or for those who are just coming back from breaks, we've just sort of wrapped up what we're going to roleplay through for this week. We will be playing again next Monday, but I want to go through with chat and for the players here how character progression works in the game. So in Numenera, there's only 6 tiers. Each tier gives you new abilities. It's kind of like levels in other systems. The difference being that what's required to upgrade to a tier is you have to purchase 4 separate upgrades. And what's cool is that you can purchase them in whatever order you want. So if you think of each of those upgrades as like a sub-level, then really there's 16 levels overall in the game, but you can choose the order that you gain the different abilities or upgrades in every 4th level. So it kind of allows for a bit more customization, sort of circumstantially, whatever you like. These characters here are all tier 1, and I'm going to be just opening up Alicia's here for a second to see. So you guys are all tier 1. You all started with one of your 4 upgrades already purchased for you, and that was extra effort. So it allowed you to spend 2 levels of effort on an individual roll. So you can spend up to 6 points to reduce DCs twice, to add a little bit more intensity to things.
Ooh.
And each of these upgrades, which you see in the center at the bottom of your character sheet, Myth, do you want to pull it up in the stream so you can see it? So advancement there, it costs 4 XP for each of the upgrades. Take them in whatever order you want. Once you have all 4 of the upgrades, then you just ding tier 2 character, you untick the boxes, and then you repurchase those 4 types of upgrades again to become tier 3 and so on and so on. If that makes sense.
Cool. I already have extra effort. Done.
Yeah, everyone already started with extra effort.
Yep.
So you guys that was just something I wanted you guys to start off with right away. So you were that much closer to tier 2. And you guys, from the end of last session, you all got to take 6 XP. So it's enough for 1 upgrade and a half.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so
we have
sorry,
6
explain.
XP.
So, Josh, we started with extra effort,
Okay.
so that should be ticked.
So it's a freebie, yeah.
a bingo
yeah,
card.
cool. Yeah,
So we get to increase 1 more,
one more.
and we have 2 XP left to spend. But obviously they cost 4 XP each. So
Okay.
So you're 1 upgrade and a half with the 6 XP from last session. And actually from the end of this session, we'll say that you guys can just have an even 8 XP, so you can buy 2 of the upgrades. How's that sound?
Okay, that
I
sounds
have
good.
8 XP from... Oh, wait. Because in-game awarded XP is different from progression.
Yeah,
XP.
keep it separately.
Okay.
Normally it's not supposed to be, but it just makes it, because the risk with making them be the same pool is that players will never spend XP in game because they just want to save it to level
That's
up.
true. Yeah.
All right.
And we could spend exactly. That's what I've been doing. So with this extra XP, the in-game XP I could throw at you
To resist my
resist
intrusion. Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Sketch Rewind says, "Oh my god, that character sheet, meow, does look good."
Really cool character sheet.
You should see,
it's hard
actually
to
look up the character sheet, Sketch Rewind. Maybe I'll find an image. Look up what they actually look like in the book because they're super cool. It's like a circle is like your core orientation.
wow.
It's awesome. The original Numenera sheets are fucking sweet.
Okay, so could we, with these upgrades, do we get any special abilities or anything? And could
Yeah,
I
so-
potentially...
So how it works is the upgrades are just what they say they are, what's described there, and then once you have all 4, you become a tier 2 character, which gives you new abilities as your type and your focus. So as a nano who travels through time, till you hit tier 2, you're not going to get anything new except for these sort of skill points and whatever that are in the advancement. And then once you hit tier 2, you get the tier 2 abilities for nano and the tier 2 abilities for travels through time.
Would I be able to train in heavy weapons? Is that something that I can...
Yeah, so here's the other thing with training. So skills training, there's kind of a premium that's put on combat-related skills versus non-combat skills. and skill training in the character advancement is not restricted. So you can choose like combat related skills, but you pick exactly a type of weapon. So because your weird gauntlet is so weird, Josh, what I'll say is that it doesn't quite work like categorically, because normally you could say, I'm going to take training in heavy ranged weapons or heavy slashing weapons or heavy bludgeoning weapons. They want you to sort of refine it a little bit, but it's not just restricted to the individual object. But because yours is a weird object, I think yours is going to be restricted. So you can take training in time gauntlet, but again, because you're working at the deficit. Actually, I'll have to look that up. I don't know if it would just bring you to proficient or if it actually bring you to trained. I think it would bring you to trained. But similarly, so Will, if you're going to take training in medium slashing weapons, then that would not just be your specific samurai sword. It would be all medium slashing weapons.
Gotcha.
You can also take
increase.
You can take training in defenses as well. So you can take training in speed defense, which is kind of like your AC. You can take training in might defense, which is like a con save. You can take training in int defense, which is all the other ones. Yeah, you can train in whatever. Or you can pick something like climbing, whatever. Also, if you pick a skill that you're already trained in, so Beth, you're trained in perception.
I'm going to take extra training and become skilled in perception.
Cool. So now Beth has the highest level of training she can have in perception. She's not only trained, she's specialized, so she gets 2 reductions on all perception shit.
Sick.
Which is cool.
That's pretty sharp.
And the other thing I've done is I've got an extra 4 to add to my pools.
Yeah, and you can split up that 4.
4.6 stat pools, and I have put 2 in might, 1 in speed, and 1 in intellect.
Cool. So Beth is all over this system.
It's so easy.
So I'm putting 4 points into my stats, and then I might train myself in a skill.
Sketch Rewind, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the adventure. You
welcome.
are a gentle person. And
Sketch Rewind, did you find? I'll answer your question in a second.
Yeah, it did.
It did.
You did find the sheet. They are awesome. Yeah. Irving Wolf, the difference between medium, light, heavy weapons is the amount of damage that they deal. Light weapons all just deal 2, medium weapons all deal 4 damage, and heavy all deal 6. And the reason for that is just it makes it simpler because it's categories rather than worrying about the difference between a mace being a D8 and a sword being a D6, whatever. It's just some are light, some are medium, some are heavy. Heavy weapons, you have to use 2 hands. Light weapons, the difficulty to land the hit is reduced by 1 because it's easier to manipulate. And then medium is just kind of the in-between, not harder, not easier, 4 damage.
Are we still first tier? We are, aren't we?
Yes.
Yep. Once you've got all 4 upgrades, so you guys are only 1 upgrade away because you already had the extra effort. So it'll be increasing the edge, I guess, for Beth. Once you get that next upgrade, which I don't know might be next session. Once you get that next upgrade, you will be tier 2. And you'll get all your sexy tier 2 abilities.
Awesome.
Carried away with the hellos. Forgot to say hi to D-Linear. What is up, Forever Player? It's
Hey.
all good.
Real quick, did you get any idea with the training my heavy weapon? As you said you were going to look that up.
Okay, give me 1 sec here.
It's whether
Whilst you do that, let me ask a question to chat. We're thinking about t-shirts and t-shirt ideas. What kind of things would you like to see on a t-shirt with like the logo and stuff? What kind of text would you like to have on a t-shirt? And indeed if you would buy one if they were available. That would be good to get some kind of feedback from you guys.
Will, in before Will's donger.
In before Will's donger is on every t-shirt. Just somewhere, it's just hidden. Just on the label, you look at it, what's dong? Yeah, who would buy a t-shirt? Who would want things on it? Sort of thing we'd look into. I would buy a t-shirt because then I could wear it and show all my cool friends.
Indeed.
You have friends?
No.
Something. The first time I discharged
I don't
Psycho,
count you as my friend.
I feel like that should be
I
do not have
another cool thing, just as a reference for people. If you have an ability from your class, so Myth, for instance, your ability to turn off robots, if that ability was like an attack,
I know what you're talking about.
If that ability was attack, so let's say it was like a blasting power that you got from your character somehow, you had this like blasting power, you can choose that as a skill to train in. So like you can take training in the mind meld, because some abilities do require sort of active rolls because they can be dodged by the targets. So keep in mind you can actually take training in sort of relevant like rolled powers or abilities that you might have.
All right. I'm going to take training in Bag of Tools. I'm just kidding. So I did 4 points in extra effort, and I put in skill. I'm sorry, move towards perfection. Add any edge. I add it to my speed pool because I seem to be doing a lot of speed stuff. And now I can spend another 4 to do a skill. Add a skill.
Well, you can buy whatever the upgrades you want there on the list. So.
Irving says hashtag praise Moldark t-shirt of the White Wolf, Moldark somewhere on it. Forever player, rock an extra large picture of Josh's face on. I like the sketch rewind says generally quotes the characters might be fun, and also Sraxi's welcome to the adventure, because it's quite like a catchphrase sort of thing that people would like. So.
I do like welcome
Nix
to the adventure.
said we should get a t-shirt with Myth dressed as Gandalf.
We can do that.
Yeah, that's something we can do.
I was also thinking Muldark told me to.
Yeah.
Muldark made me do it, yeah.
Muldark made me do it.
Yeah.
Moldork made me do it.
Molly made me do it.
I think.
No, that sounds like MD.
I think, yeah. Oh god, that's bad.
But,
that's a terrible idea.
Cool.
Yeah.
So Josh, I can't read anything to the contrary, so I'll say that by taking training in it, especially since I'm restricting it to just that weapon rather than like heavy ranged weapons, you can be trained with one purchase of the skill.
Cool. That's like specifically, because he doesn't know how to use heavy weapons. It's literally just his gauntlet to try and see if he can sort of figure it out.
Yeah. So categorically, like you should be able to like pick up a heavy rifle, for instance, because it's a heavy weapon.
Hell no.
Definitely
But I do actually. I am practiced with light weapons already as a nano.
So
cool.
that just means that you don't have the deficit when you pick them up. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. And the other thing was, where is it? So that's one skill point that I've spent. Could I also train in anticipation, or do I need to do something other than training?
Yeah, so it's not one of your 8 XP. So you've got 8 XP, which gives you 2 upgrades that you can do, and they're in the character sheet at the bottom, the advancement. There's 4 options. Once you've purchased skill training, then you can't purchase again till you're tier 2, if that makes sense. Because then once you've got all 4 boxes, then you come tier 2, and they all untick again, and you go back and buy them again, picking different skills, different abilities, and stuff like that.
Okay, so if I move towards perfection, add 1 to any edge, does that mean that I can put my edge up to 2 in intellect?
Yeah, which means any time you would spend int points, it would reduce the cost by 2 instead of just by 1. So you can kind of see how the progression system works in terms of like being a higher tiered character means you can spend a ton of effort and have a bunch of skill reductions to reduce high DCs down to like roughly the 3 or 4 range, even if they start at like 10, for instance, as opposed to starting at 5 and being brought down to the 3 or 4 range.
Hey, Ratch.
Cool, so if I take the extra edge in intellect, does that mean because scan costs me 2 intellect, I can now cast scan for free?
Yes, it does.
Fantastic. Consider me edging.
There's a Druomatic in chat.
What?
A twinomatic?
Twinomatic, yeah.
Twinmatic?
Yeah, Retrosphere is my twin. Everybody go follow him. He'll be starting streaming soon.
I will be all over that.
Yes.
Yeah, Quinn, they are able to spend XP in game to adjust stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I've had bad experiences with players where if it's the same like pool of XP, you know, both from like finishing a session, you know, give them a few, and then also in game with intrusions. If it's all one pool, then some players like hoard their XP and never want to spend them in game because they just think like, why would I spend XP on one roll if I could just like survive this? Then I get to spend it on like permanent upgrades.
I would 100% do that.
Yeah, so
like, it just makes sense. So
so to encourage players to use XP in game for funny shit like the Irish jigs and stuff like that, what I do is whenever I give out piecemeal one-offs in session, those are only to be spent in session. Similarly, and then the XP you use for character progression you get at the end of sessions, sort of in a lump clump.
A lump clump blop, I believe you called it earlier.
Lump, blop.
So I,
Cool.
I've
Let's go through.
now. Go ahead.
Tell me,
No,
yeah,
let's
tell
do it.
me. Let's go down the line and see who's bought what. So I think Beth was done first. So we'll start with Beth. What did you choose to upgrade, Beth?
I have become specialised in perception,
Had a girl.
and I have chosen to add 4 points to my stat pools. I've put 2 in might, 1 in speed, and 1 in intellect.
Cool. All right, and Will, what has Seto Yashwan chosen to upgrade?
I have chosen to upgrade my might pool by 2, my speed by 1, and my intellect by 1. And I've also become skilled in speed defense, so I am full on pirouetting around like a mouse nowadays.
Nice.
Yep.
Very good. And Jeckley, Mythmatic, what did you choose to upgrade?
I still have a couple questions about skills. I have flex and sabotage as skills. What is flex?
Your flex skill is every morning you pick a skill and you're trained for the day in that skill.
Epic.
So it's basically, it's like the jack of all trades thing. Like each day you can kind of be a little bit more proficient, you know.
I thought it just meant like flexing. All right, so I'm gonna be trained to flex.
You just show off your muscles.
Well, so no, like you already get like
Oh,
flex.
I have flex.
Flex, like having a flex skill is an ability that jacks have.
Oh, hell
Every
yeah.
morning, declare a new skill, and like you pretend for that day that you have one level.
Pretend.
Yeah.
It's not actually true. All right, cool. So yeah, I spent 4 points and went into and bought to be trained in lies and trickery. And I also spent 4 points to give myself an edge in my speed defense.
Cool.
Giving me, of course, my lump sum XP is spent, and my 2 storytelling XP is still in play.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah,
And
that's,
last but not least, Maximus the Time Traveler.
You forgot Beth.
No, I've
No,
already done
Beth's
mine.
first.
She was
Oh,
first.
I didn't. I completely
She's
missed
no,
that.
it's-
first
happens.
person to get how
I
to
do that.
progress.
I do that
So
Sydney
she
as
went
well.
first.
Sometimes I just talk and you just
I just
block it out.
yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, that's
so
nice, honey. Block it out.
Yeah. I have. So yeah, I've got the.
Spit it out, hun.
So you've all. She's talking again. I can hear it.
It's
I
some-
have.
I think she wants something. Maybe.
I've got my training. I've got my training using my temporal gauntlet,
Which
Um,
you need to put in your character.
which I will put in now, and I have also got.
extra
taking my
levels of
intellect-
confusion and gravelly voice.
Yeah. Yes. My intellect edge has gone up to 2, which means I can now use erase memories and scan for free. And possibly, I'm trying to figure out how much anticipation cost me, where that is.
I think it costs you only 1 intellect point.
Cool. In which case, that's most certainly free. So yeah.
Cool. Can you guys just talk with chat for a sec? I'm going to write to Saving Throw Show how and when the sandwich is going to come in.
Okay.
And I need to
All right.
concentrate.
You do. The sandwiches are very, very important. So yeah, I don't mind the idea of just having like a welcome to the adventure kind of T-shirt with a logo on, and then maybe something on the back like Praise Moldark or
Or
something.
maybe even just the address. Twitch.
Yeah, maybe just a
At the
Twitch.
encounter.
So I wanna raise of hands in chat anyone that would potentially get on, because if we do start it, we need to sell about 20. And I mean, us and the team probably will get one. But how many guys over there in the chats would consider buying one? Because hand raise,
Make a
please.
straw poll.
Put your hands in the air. Yeah, we
No,
could do
this is
straw.
good. I like whatever we're doing now.
Oh, okay.
But we can.
You
do
like the
straw
hands?
poll. But yeah, Irving wants a quick spider noise. Fine. That's for you. Hand raised, nice.
All right. Okay. I'll put a straw poll just in case.
Yeah. It'd be a little easier to.
There we go, you guys
Graham
can
has
read.
put In Moldark we trust.
In
Moldark.
Moldark we trust. I like it.
Give me a raise of hands and the.
On the straw poll.
Nick's just
On the
put
straw
both
poll.
hands. Yeah.
Encounter T-shirt, yay or nay?
I got 100% for yay.
That's a lot of yay.
That's going up quick.
It's okay if you don't actually want to buy one.
But let us know.
Let us know if you'd rather not. Then need a hope
If you
poster
vote
style
no,
vector
if you
graphic.
vote no, then
There's a nay.
let us know. Good. There's
Good
a
to know. Thank you.
Thank you for your honesty.
Yes, we appreciate it.
Clearly, we need a stylized hope poster with style vector graphic of Myth's face as the logo. You know, I've done that graphic so many times. I'm a graphic designer, so that hope style poster is not hard to do. But I will not do that with my face on it. Maybe with Will's.
Ooh, it was
Who's
Who's
an
got their
entity?
phone next to the computer?
Who is it
William.
always? There you go.
It's not. It's literally 2 to 3 meters away. I think my mic is quite.
It's very
Just so
it's very
sensitive.
quiet. It's like
He just wants to come out and play.
But yeah, other things are happening.
I think we should do a
24th.
vector poster of you in the corset. And it's like a hope style. That'd be a
Maybe.
good one.
Actually, that reminds me of the 1,000 follower straw poll that Irving made. We'll find that for you guys.
my favourite straw poll of all time.
Where is this thing? There we go.
I love unofficial straw polls.
Yeah. There you go. But also things that are happening are on the 24th. A couple of Saturdays time, we'll be doing another 24-hour stream, probably. Not 100% confirmed yet, but kind of 70-75% confirmed. So, don't know if I can trust you with my money yet. I seem to have failed my role to resist you, and I've become compelled.
Nice. That's what we like to hear.
Yeah.
Roll a saving throw.
Welcome all those who followed today. Thank you so much, guys.
Yes, indeed. It's been a lot of fun.
Yes, indeedy. Thanks for hanging out while we do our figurings of progression of our characters
thanks,
as well.
Thanks for hanging out while we had our wang out. It's
Yep,
been
we were hanging out while we were hanging.
That certainly didn't happen. I can assure you.
No, it
Yeah,
happens. you can't see
could-
what goes on below my sweater.
For other players, anyone who votes for Will shaving his head, I'll kill. Also, Sydney has banned that one. I'm not allowed to do it.
Yeah, I was gonna substitute my mustache in that stead, but I know that Forever
no.
Play
No!
hates that. And everybody else apparently. So
Cord. If you shave your mustache
yeah, this
off,
top lip needs to breathe at some point.
you will die.
Okay, fine.
By my hand. Or someone
You're fired.
else's.
You're fired.
If
I
anyone
think we're
says
secret
Josh to
women.
shave his beard off, then I will hurt you. Because it's not happening.
I'm not losing the bit.
You can't lose. the
I'll
beat.
shave. I'll
It's
happily shave.
literally.
You shave. It's about time, Will. I've been asking for.
I looked back into the annals of Encounter Roleplay and I saw you without a beard, and I was like, oh, who's that?
I showed Sydney that for the first time funny actually, last night. I was like, this is what I look like without any facial hair, with short hair. She's like, you look 10 years old.
yeah.
Yes, I do. I am a child beneath all of this. Hey, Quintus, how's it going, mate?
Underneath it all.
All right, hashtag spoilers if you want to sort of rap at anyone's knuckles to find out what's going to be happening later in this campaign. Saving throw show are the ones to accost.
Yeah.
I would accost them immediately.
Nice. Did he want to know, or did you just spoil the entire campaign for him?
Just gave a
Okay.
little
Well, a little spoiler nugget.
tidbit, little nugget.
My face when that is actually what the mutant boy is. He's just a giant sandwich.
We have to force feed him the sandwich to make him better, but it actually doesn't work, so he becomes a giant Godzilla creature that we have to fight.
Giant sandwich, yeah.
Giant sandwich.
Yeah.
Sandwichzilla!
Hey, Steve. Just draw
I
on the
don't know.
screen a new one.
I don't know if Will has already thrown it out, but thanks to everybody who was watching today, who hung out, tuned in. We are going to be playing more Numenera next week, same time, 4 to 7 p.m. EST, whatever that means for you in your weird time space. Just don't ask Maximus for any kind of reference points in that respect. It's always fun to play with chat. I'm always eager to incorporate. I know there's a donation system for like major components to bring into the game, but like I'm always happy if I see good suggestions I like, and if there's new followers, I'm eager to let them know that they are loved, and we can throw them into the game and their suggestions in as best we can. So there is some form of mutation that will be discovered on young Jacob.
What I would also like to say, announce Thursday, I'm looking for some players from chat for a game. Exclamation point play. Twitch plays D&D on Thursday. So I've got a command. There's a document
with you.
Some stuff, info that you need to figure out if you're going to come play on Thursday. So let me know.
So currently,
Josh will be with us.
I will be with you, playing
Holding your
Garrett
hand for the encounter roleplay.
Yeah, I'll be. Yeah, exactly. We'll be playing Garrett, the halfling rogue, who is possibly the director from Red vs. Blue, for those of you who get that reference. Nice. And I will just be plugging as many references in as possible without anyone knowing.
Same time, same place, 4 p.m. EST, 7 p.m. to 7 p.m. EST as well.
Yes.
So
yeah, we do
Google
D&D on Twitch, Steve. Every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's all right, mate. We're here, like I say, we're here every single week, 3 times a week for 9 hours in total. So if you guys want to get in on a game and actually play some D&D with me, do exclamation point play, and you can get in if you want to win a copy of this book here, the Player's Handbook.
Ooh.
A beautiful book that you can win. You can go exclamation point giveaways Myth's just done in chat and follow that link and join in the adventure. And
we have
what else?
We are looking for more giveaways too later down the road. We want to do another D&D book. Do you guys like the PHB, or do you guys like maybe to complete the set? I'm talking to you, chat, especially. What do you suggest that you'd like as a party?
I think completing the set is a cool idea.
Complete the set.
Steve says that's a really good prize for a giveaway. Yes, it's pretty cool, huh? You can go and win that, my friend. It's giving away on Halloween. So you've still got a couple of weeks. So if you want one of the books, he doesn't have any proper books, then go follow that link, and you can definitely be in it for a chance.
All those steps and all those people that you are following and helping, you're helping us out, you're helping them out. We're all kind of in this giant Twitch D&D family. So yeah, by clicking those links and filling out those steps, you're helping us all out, which is great.
You're perpetuating our incestuous friendships.
Exactly.
Yes.
If you haven't already done so, come along to Facebook, which is somewhere around there.
Will there be a special scary Halloween stream? Well, I don't know. Maybe not actually on Halloween.
That's a good idea. We have to all dress up. Oh God, that's a good idea.
That is a good idea, isn't
it?
It
would have
Halloween
to be around Halloween, because I'm really busy on Halloween.
Well, there's Thursday, because Thursday is
yeah, maybe
on a Friday, so maybe that Thursday. I don't think I'd be able to play though. Maybe I'll just play like on Monday or like on a Wednesday. It would just be me dressed up and everybody else.
I like it because on the Sunday or Saturday, the Saturday I will be blind drunk, but on Thursday I will be up for getting dressed.
Well, I thought you drink. This is news to me.
No, I don't.
Not at all.
Nope. Not at all, I just drank.
Oh, Halloween's Saturday. Oh, I thought it was a Friday this year. Anyway, maybe we could just do it on Wednesday where we're all doing it.
Yeah. Special Halloween, vampire, haunted house
Myth
sort of
dressed
one.
as a witch.
Myth dressed as a Mitch.
Do who done it?
Don't see that
Son
reminds
of
me of like what was it? The no, what it reminds me of whenever you say Halloween was the amazingness of our first 24. Well, not it was a 14-hour stream, and we did. Me, Will, and James did a vampire role play, and it lasted about 30 minutes, and it included me walking into a room and basically having a conversation with James's character and just going, no, no, no. And then I stood up to leave, and as I went to walk out, he tried to shoot me. I stepped out of the way, and then I exploded as I was shot by a blunderbuss, and we were just like, what the fuck have we just done? It was derailed so hard, so fast. Like,
Okay,
I perma-killed her.
really quick before we close, best Halloween costumes that everyone's worn. Go. What are the best Halloween costumes?
Best, that we've worn.
Straight up corset. Like, is that even? That's like a
Actually,
costume.
last year I went as Kiss. That was pretty good. Had
Billy
all those,
Mays.
like, cool makeup on.
Billy
so.
Mays, right on.
I run as Billy Mays and sold everybody everything at the party. It was great. Hi, Billy Mays here with rum. And it was great. You gotta drink this rum. It's the best rum. You pour it on the counter. You have a messy counter.
Cool.
Just had khakis and a blue shirt and made like an OxyClean name tag, and like I couldn't grow facial hair at the time, so I just had mascara, and I just mascaraed a beard onto my face.
Nice.
It was gross, and I like spray painted my head black.
Is he the ShamWham guy?
He was the guy who did OxyClean, who died of cocaine or something.
Yeah. All the good ones do.
Yeah.
My girlfriend and I did Ash and Pikachu last year.
Nice. You were Pikachu.
But yeah, we realized like online, you look in like couples costume Ash and Pikachu, and it's always like the dude is Ash, and then there's a slutty Pikachu.
Yeah,
so
you were slutty Pikachu.
I was slutty Pikachu. Yeah, I bought like short women's yellow booty shorts, and yeah, I had like a women's like
I
tube
have
top.
to see this. There must be photos.
I have a photo somewhere. I'll try and bring a photo.
Yes.
It was great. It was great.
Speaking of dressing up, this Thursday I will actually be at New York Comic Con. You guys can hang out with me. I'll be strutting around with my bow tie and my glasses and my mythomatic attire. If you see me, say hi. I definitely want to meet you guys. I mean, I don't know who here still is in the New York area, but that's where I will be this Thursday. Did I say Wednesday? I meant Thursday.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's this Thursday, New York Comic Con.
That's interesting you should say that, because in October in England we have a Comic Con. MCM Comic Con in London is coming up.
2016.
It is well, no, before even that, 2015.
2015.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
So yeah, I am going to be there at Comic Con on the 23rd, 24th, and 25th. I'll be there with my company, the other company I work with, which is Apocalypse Supplies. If you guys want to come and meet me, I will be there. I will be around.
Stop clicking.
Sorry, that mail. Sorry.
That's okay.
And yeah,
Mysterious ticking noise.
But awesome.
It's kind of catchy.
It's
So
actually
yeah,
me
if you,
and Colin will be there.
There it is.
Oh, sweet.
I think I'm
so
actually gonna be
yeah.
streaming tonight too. Probably some H1Z1. So if those who want to watch me die a lot, it's probably gonna be a good time.
Yeah. So I think we're going to say Wednesday the 28th for the Halloween stream.
Hallow stream.
Hallow stream. We'll probably try and do some cool vampire haunted house type themed
I
game
think
that
a
night.
haunted house murder mystery kind.
Maybe I'll run Mistmore.
Yeah.
I could make Ghost of Mistmore, and I could run that.
Or we could do the second part to the
The vampire game.
not the vampire game. The
the reporter,
Journalist.
so
Part
journalist.
3, I guess.
It would
Oh, season 3.
Season 3. I'll see
episode
if,
3, season 3.
I'll see if I can get Sydney on, see if she's around for that one or not.
Nathan the
You and
crazy-
Nathan, the guy who
crazy
sing-
neighbor.
Sydney played April. Beth, you played Eleanor, and Josh played
I played
guy.
Donnie.
Donnie. That's it. So
Donnie.
maybe we'll
Yeah.
see what we can do.
You guys
That
will
was
listen to Josh's American impression.
Yeah, that is. Well, it'll be my other American impression because I've sort of got.
He only has 2.
Well, that's cool that you have 2. I have 1 England impression. Right?
Which
That's what they're
is-
called,
let-
England impressions.
Let me
England impression.
let me hear it real quick.
You do a good
you
impression of
impersonate
me,
the
Gord.
entire
That's
country.
true. No, I can do the whole ones. Hola, chip. There he is. You say hola, right?
No.
No.
I'm just joking.
Anyway,
it's
we
a
should probably
perfect-
wrap up for
it's
tonight because
real
we're getting
restaurant.
tired and insane.
I just wanna
Filet.
ask Myth something. Did
Yeah.
you know, interestingly, because I know you always love to hear these
It's gotta
little
be on
tips.
stream.
tidbits of information about England. Did you know that we have something called I can't remember, it's the video play something, and basically in England, when EastEnders, which is a soap that loads of people watch over here, when we watch the soap, when it ends, the power grid has to take extra power from France to counter the fact that about 1.5 million people put on their kettles at the same time, and the power strain on our grid, that's how obsessed we are with tea. It nearly wipes out our power grid, and they have to like boost their power.
So
by
4 days a week, we have to steal electricity from France to stop the whole power grid.
It'd be every day if I had anything to do with it. But on that bombshell, we should probably end tonight. It is time to end the show.
Facts to throw at me.
Yeah. So there you go, chat. Useless facts about England every night on Encounter Roleplay. Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. We're back on Wednesdays to play some Out of the Abyss. That's Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. We are playing this module here, the Out of the Abyss new book from Wizards of the Coast. Very exciting.
When we're done with it, we can give it away.
Yeah, maybe when we're done with it, we can give it away to you
We'll
guys.
sign it, except for me.
Yeah, yeah, definitely sign it. And give that away.
We'll just get you to send us a picture of your signature and just like stick it in.
Yeah, just stick it in. That's what I get a lot.
Just the
Just
the pick.
Just the 1700 dong inches. Next time you guys need to test a Maserati. Yeah, that's probably the next stream. But until Wednesday, and then we're back on Thursday to play Twitch Plays D&D if you guys, some viewers, so get involved with that if you haven't already. And until then, any last shout-outs, plugs, memes?
No.
Oh, we should announce something. We have an announcement. Mitch is joining.
This is what I was waiting for.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Mitch is part of the team. He's one of the Encounter Roleplay boys. Encounter
Does that mean
Mitch.
he's changing his name?
No.
No,
Encounter at Delinia.
No, I think I'm gonna keep the name.
Encounter Delinea.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep writing stuff because I mean I've enjoyed streaming. Streaming is new to me. These fine folks have been gracious enough to let me stick my little baby toes into the world that is streaming live, playing games. I've played a ton of stuff on like Roll20 just with folks, but always sort of privately. So this has been really fun and exciting for me. I still don't know where I want to take it or what streaming means to me. I'm excited to be able to help these guys as they expand. But I'm gonna keep writing stuff because I like to write stuff.
Normal human.
And we like
toes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So that's some exciting news.
Yeah.
Yeah. But until Wednesday, everybody, go follow us on Twitter at EncounterRP. Go follow us on Facebook. Go tell your friends about us. Tell your mum about us. We're kind of trying to organise our parents' game, hopefully for next week. If not next week, the week after. So that'll be pretty good. I'll announce that on the Twitters and the Facebooks and stuff once we know. And until Wednesday, thank you again, Saving Throw Show, for a £3.50 donation. You are a gentleman and a scholar, and actually a group of really good D&D streamers. If you guys don't already know Saving Throw Show, I'm surprised, because you should. They did a really good charity stream for Extra Life with Wizard of the Coast last night. I think it was yesterday.
I think I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, I tuned in for a little bit. So, yeah, Parents Games soon. And thank you, everybody, for following and joining and being around and entertaining us with your memes tonight. There have been some strong ones.
Strong in the memes.
It's been very strong
The memes are strong with you.
Very stern memes. So until Wednesday at 9 p.m. BST, 4 p.m. EST, try not to, well, I don't know, get everyone killed in your party. Well, I guess try not to get your friends killed.
Try not to blow up a priceless crystal motorbike.
Yeah.
Try not to get your boss killed.
Really a one of a kind, yeah.
Try not to do that. And try not, of course, to roll too many nat ones because we want to be there laughing when you do. Until next time, everybody, it's myself, Will, from Encounter Roleplay, Mitch, Mythomatic, Josh, and Beth signing off. Until next time.